What was it? Was Facebook.
And we are live. What about Facebook?
No, that was kind of the initiator of what locked that up. Yeah, I went on to Facebook, and then all of a sudden it was like,
Too many apps open at once. Clearly.
Well, I rebooted the machine before I started, and I can play Call of Duty. I can fly Microsoft Flight Simulator with the graphics
all on this laptop.
So it should be able to fucking have multiple Chrome tabs open. One would think.
Right.
64 gig of RAM, fucking.
Well, you know what it is? It's because you muted your mic and now it can't listen to everything you say to generate ads, and it like kind of went into a feedback loop.
Yeah, so it tried to maybe if we lock up, then uncheck his mic. That makes sense.
All right, this is the sound check portion of the show, people.
Chappelle Show.
Let us know how we sound.
The David Jason Show.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Let's start the show.
Oh, speaking of the sound check portion, for some reason I went back and rewatched last week's episode. And do you remember how we had the echo because you weren't muted?
Right.
And we had the things, and yeah, and Bronco Fett did his typical click on there.
Right.
Which, he does every week. Right. So it's like I don't even pay attention anymore whenever he does it. Yep. But then after we were having the sound issues, and he's like, I said click. Like, asshole. So I just
he's
always
hilarious. Covered. Like it's
right.
Either, that we have it and it's funny, or no, we don't have it and it's funny, and we have it and it's fucked.
Yes.
I don't know. Whatever that meant.
I'm confused.
I am tired. I need energy.
All right. Well,
we need some music. Chappelle Show.
Club music. Well, everybody said that we sound good.
Boots and pants.
So this will be a pretty short sound check portion.
Start the show.
All right, shit. I mean, I guess we're ready. Let me get this or that queued up.
We already did that.
It stopped for some reason. Get my notes up here. Got my notes here. I'm prepared.
Which means we're missing something.
I know, right? Something's bound to go wrong.
We definitely need a checklist.
I know, right?
I think we're ready.
All right, let's fucking do it then.
All right.
Give me a countdown. Charlie Murphy.
What the 5 fingers say in the face?
From a Gen X point of view is brought to you today by
the BMW owners across the street that are fucking got their jam box going fucking super loud.
Yeah, you might be able to hear it actually
during our 30-second silence.
Yeah.
They heard our
request for music.
Yeah, our Boots and Pants request, and there it was. Magically.
Indeed. So shit. I forgot how we start this show because we did all things Star Wars last week. Right. So
I think it's in flux.
As things are kind of merging together. So else. I feel like I want to say hello, but then it's
which you just did. So
right. So to me saying hello. I don't know what's going on right now.
Either.
But I do know this is episode 31 of From a Gen X Point of View. What are we talking about this week, Dave?
Chappelle Show.
Woo-hoo! Yes. So Chappelle Show is something we've been talking about for a long time. For as long as you and I have been doing podcasts together for 4 years or whatever.
Yeah.
We've thrown in Chappelle's references all the fucking time. We've talked about forever, finally starting to break down the show. And we're doing it today.
Yes.
So we're breaking down the first 3 episodes of Chappelle Show as our main topic today.
Yes.
But as always, we have so much to get to before then. And the first thing we want to talk about is reiterating the brand merge, I guess. that's
Right.
coming. What was the face?
I just read something in the notes that I didn't see there earlier.
Oh, okay. The dream thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. So anyway,
Way too many surprises in the studio today.
so yeah, if you, for some reason, if you didn't listen to All Things Star Wars last week, Dave and I mentioned that we're merging our brands. Last year, after the COVID shit all happened, we decided we wanted to try this from a Gen X point of view venture. Split off, been doing it. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, but we also got some flack from our loyal followers from the All Things Star Wars side. We want to try to get into that Red 5 network. So all of this combined, we're merging everything, all of our brands into one under the Sidebar Cantina umbrella,
Yes.
I guess.
Which we already are.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the Sidebar Cantina has kind of been the heart that pumps the blood of comedy that is us. I'm terrible today. I like none of it's making any sense.
Well, I understood it.
All right. No, that's good. Thank
Right.
God.
So just wanted to reiterate that this is going to start May 10th. Until May 10th, we're still going Gen X point of view up to that point. Then May 10th is the official merging of the brands. It's going to be episode 200 of the Sidebar Cantina.
Woo!
We're going to talk about the Bad Batch that day because the Bad Batch will have come out the week before.
Yes.
And yeah, so kicking off the new brand with a Star Wars topic. You're welcome, guys and girls. So
yeah,
I forgot where I was going.
Everything happens for a reason. Like it's all coming together.
Yes.
200 episodes of podcasting greatness.
Yeah. Because really you're getting the Dave and Jason show is what you're getting.
The Dave and Jason show.
Yes. And nothing's really going to change. Same format, same flow. That we're going to have to work on the intro. Because I mean, are we going to do the toasts again? Are we going to
toast? I think we should do the toast.
All right, and then we'll do the hello.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's been a staple of the show for a long time.
Hundreds and hundreds of times. So might as well.
All right.
Don't we leave on vacation on May 9th?
Wait, what?
No, I thought your vacation was before that.
I don't fucking know. Whatever, we'll figure it out. TBD, we'll say. Maybe it's the week after that.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, the fuck was I talking about?
Chappelle show.
All right. So yeah, we're talking about Chappelle show. Brands merging coming up.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Next week, I think I want to start pushing all of our live streams to the new Sidebar Cantina. I say new in quotes because I rebranded the old All Things Star Wars YouTube channel where we still have like 400 subscribers. Wow. And that's where we're going to be basing out of. I just changed the name, changed the logo, and we'll be broadcasting from there.
Yep.
So
that's where you're going to want to be for the chat.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. It's like all of our chat peeps. That's where you're going to want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in the artist formerly known as the All Things Star Wars channel.
Yeah.
Now the Sidebar Cantina, youtube.com/c/Sidebar Cantina.
Is it sidebar or the sidebar? Pretty sure it's the sidebar.
Jamie, look that up.
youtube.com/c.
Jamie, you're not supposed to talk out loud.
You're
supposed to be silent.
This is how we do it. We do it live. Boom. The Sidebar Cantina. So
what he said.
YouTube.com/c/the Sidebar Cantina. And we'll remind people every week as we're doing this. We'll do multi-broadcasts for a while. And I know this is fucking extremely fascinating for all of you out there.
It is.
As we're basically planning out the show
terribly
live here on the air. But we do it live. That's our thing. It's what we do.
And I'm trying to figure out when Jason actually goes on vacation.
Whatever. We'll figure it out. So we have a segment on the show called This or That.
Yes.
Where our social media director, Luna Girl, puts up a poll. She gives you two options, and you pick an option for each one, and we go over the results here on the show.
Yes. I sensed the theme to this week.
Yes, there was a theme, actually. So, and her and I actually kind of came up with this together, and we basically went with, in honor of Chappelle's show, sort of black entertainment, black comedy, black TV shows.
Yeah.
So right at the gates, the first one was a little controversial, potentially, The Cosby Show versus A Different World.
Cosby Show.
Yeah, that was a no-brainer.
Cosby Show. I mean, Different World wouldn't exist without the Cosby Show.
Right.
And it was one of those where if you just happened to leave the channel on, didn't Different World come on after the Cosby Show?
Probably.
Like, the Cosby Show had that primetime slot, and then it came.
I honestly never watched A Different World. Never.
I watched it. Probably. I don't know. I don't know why I watched it, honestly.
Yeah. But Cosby Show won pretty handily,
excuse me.
88% to 12%.
Yep.
So it wasn't even close, and rightfully so. Cosby Show, say what you will about Bill and, his alleged rape of 54 women or whatever it is.
Allegedly.
Still
No, it's not alleged. He's in prison for fuck's sake.
Is he?
So, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Motherfucker's locked up for it. So, we
regardless.
can go from allegedly to
convicted rapist.
Yes.
Okay. But still, groundbreaking show for the time.
And it was funny. I mean, he was funny. It's fucked up as he was. The shit was funny.
Mm-hmm. The next one, we start getting into some fun 90s stuff. Fresh Prince versus Family Matters.
It's Fresh Prince.
Yeah, same. I went for Fresh Prince, and Fresh Prince won again.
Now, I've watched both of those shows probably equally and over in their term. But Will Smith's a Philly guy. Like, there's always been like what kind of watching the show is starting out with the West Philadelphia born and raised.
Yeah.
And when you're from Philly, you kind of glom onto other people that are successful that are from Philly.
Sure.
So I think I definitely leaned more into that. And plus Will Smith. It's Will Smith. He's a great character.
Right. And,
you're competing basically with Urkel on the other side.
Right. And to be fair, most of us were familiar with Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince long before the show.
Stop whatever you're doing and listen to this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't. What is it? Sometimes you don't know what to do at home, but now you can call me and Prince on the telephone.
Yeah. They had the music videos for Parents Just Don't Understand.
Just down a number on the TV screen. It's my latest creation. Prince, you're bugging. It's mine. Okay, it's ours. And we call it the rap hotline. So give us a call. The new rap is kind of deaf. Dial 1-900-909-Jeff. You're welcome.
Sidebar, I actually had a cousin who would call that line on a regular basis, and when his mom found out, she was like, Robbie, what are you doing? Yeah.
Dude, I can't even imagine the beating that would have commenced if I had fucking done some shit like that.
Yep. And honestly, yeah, like you said, Urkel, fucking Family Matters, such an annoying character.
You got Carl Winslow in retirement, from a Die. He's in LA as the fucking cop goes through all the bullshit from Die Hard, and you put him in suburbia, and he gets to put up with an annoying kid.
Did you ever see the Key and Peele skit where it was the behind the scenes of Family Matters?
No.
Where the Carl goes to one of the producers of the show, and he's pissed off because they're making it all about Urkel,
right?
And it was actually like it was supposed to be a show about a family. And oh god, you got to see it. Just I look up Key and Peele and just do Family Matters. It's fucking hilarious.
Key and Peele's great.
Yep. It's no Chappelle show, but pretty cool.
Shotgun Mark.
Oh, we got Mark in the chat. What's up, man? All right. Next, we've got Tracy Morgan versus Chris Rock. A couple of SNL alumni.
Yeah. I forget who I selected on this.
For me, this was Chris Rock, hands down. I didn't really watch SNL when Tracy Morgan was on there. I enjoyed him in like 30 Rock and some other stuff that he was in, but Chris Rock, for us, I thought was just a far funnier comedian, did much more with his career.
I think Tracy Morgan just being Tracy Morgan is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the dude just like Chris Rock, he's a stand-up comedian and he's an actor and he does all this other shit, right? So like he has this persona, whereas Tracy Morgan is that's him.
Yeah.
The dude fucking rolls out of bed fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he's just that character. So I think I selected Tracy Morgan on this, but
okay.
I think it was just recency of experience, right? The Chris Rock stuff that's been out lately hasn't really been as entertaining to me.
Yeah.
And Tracy Morgan's Super Bowl commercial I thought was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, true. Just going back to Fresh Prince won its competition 90% to 10% against Family Matters, and Chris Rock won 86% to 14%. Yeah. So a lot of decisive victories here.
Legit.
Next, who makes you laugh? ? Arsenio Hall versus Cedric the Entertainer.
I don't know if I even.
Well, this was the closest one so far. Arsenio won 57% to 43%, but Cedric the Entertainer, not on my radar at all.
Nope.
The few things I've seen him in, like I know he was in Barbershop. I didn't find his character that funny. Arsenio Hall, though, the fucking Arsenio Hall show. That was our shit growing up. It's Arsenio Hall. Fucking Bill Clinton playing the saxophone on there.
That will always be like that. That will be no matter what. If there's any political science class in fucking 2040 is going to look back at campaigns and they're going to show Bill Clinton on the fucking Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, no, it was great, and the show was it was a fun show. Not the most groundbreaking talk show ever, but it was fun, and it was
Didn't
again
he have like a resurgence? Like, didn't he do something like kind of a one-off recently?
I have no idea.
Like, I think it was like almost because they did Coming to America too, so I thought maybe it had something to do with that, like a promo thing for that. But yeah,
I don't know. Next one, Queen Latifah versus Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes is funnier. Like,
I would
talking about comedians. I think Wanda Sykes is funnier.
Yeah, because I don't think Latifah was even a stand-up comedian at all. She was a rapper,
right?
Is what she started her career off. I mean, then she got into acting and things like that. Whereas, Wanda Sykes was always a stand-up comedian, but I always felt Queen Latifah was a better entertainer overall.
I think I went with a like, how do I feel about this? I know Wanda Sykes is funnier, so I'm going with that.
Okay,
I get it. I mean, Queen Latifah's definitely been in a lot of stuff, and I think we have to give her credit for the fact that she's been rocking the Queen bit, like Queen Latifah, like she's rocked that her entire career.
And didn't she just like start a new show that just debuted like after the Super Bowl? That
isn't it a cop show?
Yeah, it's like a serious thing. Anyway, Queen Latifah won 63% to 37%.
Okay,
this is a good one. Rush Hour versus Bad Boys.
It's Bad Boys.
Yeah, I picked Bad Boys too. It was close. 57% Bad Boys to 43% Rush Hour. Honestly, I was just never a big Jackie Chan person. Like, really? I never saw the appeal. I love Chris Tucker. I think Chris Tucker is fucking hilarious.
He is fucking hilarious.
I was a huge fan of him. Do you remember the movie Dead Presidents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of his first movies. I remember him in that. I thought his character was great in that. And then, of course, fucking Fifth Element.
Yeah.
It's kind of what put him on the map. And then he graduated into Rush Hour. So he was like the fucking man in the late 90s.
See, Jackie Chan it's almost like anything that he's in, it's about what Jackie Chan is going to do to himself physically during this fucking movie, because he does all his own stunts. And the level of fucking parkour that man can do and the damage he's done to his body. Because after all those movies, like when he's doing all the stunts, you get these fucking outtakes, right, of him falling and fucking getting hurt and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, but all that being said, it's Bad Boys. So funny sidebar, my daughter had messaged back about Bad Boys 2, right? So there's that scene in fucking blank. It just went blank. Simon Pegg movie Hot Fuzz.
Oh, okay.
The scene of Hot Fuzz where he goes to Simon Pegg characters like, you haven't seen Bad Boys 2? Right? So my daughter made that comment on Instagram or something, and I don't think Kelly didn't get the inside. Like, it was kind of an inside joke for the family, because I've made my kids watch that movie far too many times.
Hot Fuzz or Bad Boys 2?
Hot Fuzz.
Okay.
But that's the Bad Boy 2 is in reference. Oh god, dude, the fucking trilogy. We need to do the trilogy.
Well, you're talking Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and
the last one that they did was the
bar one, the end of the world or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Which
I haven't actually seen that, so
it wasn't great, but it's part of the trilogy. Anyway, yeah. So my daughter screenshotted the conversation about that and sent it to me. She's like, because Kelly was like, oh yeah, it's Kelly. I didn't get it. It's okay. It's fine.
All right, fair enough.
You haven't seen Bad Boys 2?
So the next one, this was a weird one. Cool Runnings versus White Men Can't Jump. Cool Runnings actually won 57% to 43%. I picked White Men Can't Jump.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme.
Yeah. I saw them both. I remember seeing them both back in the day. I saw White Men Can't Jump in the theaters. So
I did not.
No?
I mean, I saw it, but I didn't see it in the theaters. I didn't see a lot of stuff in the theaters. I mean, that can probably gloss over anything that doesn't have Star Wars in the title.
Well, so this came out at a time when me and my friends all had our driver's licenses, and there was still a drive-in movie theater in our hometown. Okay. And they'd show double features like every Friday.
Nice.
So we'd go to every fucking weekend and we'd see double features. This was one of the movies that was playing as part of a drive-in. You pay like $3 a car and you fucking get in and you get to watch a couple of movies in a really cool atmosphere. So
yeah, the drive-in was definitely a unique experience, especially for the cost. You can still do it today in
Yeah, there's that one
Dulce-
here in Jersey
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's on Dulce Drive. You go back to fucking Bronco Fett brought up that Rush Hour was funnier. Rush Hour was definitely funnier than Bad Boys.
Sure.
It was meant to be, right? It's that, like when you get Chris Tucker in it, it's not you. How serious are you really going to be able to get, right? Whereas with Bad Boys, it was almost like it was an action movie, and more an action movie that had comedic elements.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, so you're gonna have some comedy in there,
right? But I like the parts when the fucking the kid shows up to take his daughter out, and Will Smith shows up and he's playing the fucking anyway. There's a lot of good. Anyway, yeah.
All right.
I felt like I had to bring that up.
Anyway, so Cool Runnings beat White Man Can't Jump. I remember seeing Cool Runnings. I remember watching it with a group of friends from. They weren't friends. There were people I was doing like a project with. You know how back in high school you'd get paired with people in a class that you didn't really know, but you had to spend a lot of time with each other on the fucking weekends to get these projects done. And it was during one of those, and then we were working on it, and they're like, "Whoa, you want to watch Cool Runnings?" Sure.
I always bailed out of those. I was way too introverted, and plus they would never do it the way I wanted to do it.
Right.
Because I was smarter than them and they didn't realize it. So I was like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll just do my own project.
I could totally see that.
Oh, dude.
All right.
Totally.
Next is House Party versus Friday.
I did not have an opinion on this.
Really?
I did not.
I mean, Friday kicked the shit out of House Party, 86% to 14%. Most people would agree Friday was a good movie.
Friday was the one that had Ice Cube in it, right?
Yeah, Ice Cube and again Chris Tucker.
I saw it. I think I probably chose Friday out of the two, but I don't have a vested interest in either one.
Yeah. House Party was it was one of those late 80s kind of, I think it was late 80s, or it might have been like 1990.
I thought it was the taking advantage of it was Kid and Play.
was the group. Yeah. So they were big in like 89, 90.
Yeah, they were taking like, all right, here's these hip hop artists. They're younger. Let's take advantage of using these guys in a movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I don't think it was very good. Whereas Friday was at least good and had funny parts.
Yeah.
But
I recall it having a House Party having a couple of funny parts. But yeah, Friday was obviously a superior movie. So this one was fun.
I like how Bronco Fett has been contrarian to whatever you say is the winner. He said the other one almost every single time.
He might just be doing this on purpose.
He might be.
Me, so
because you're not paying attention to it. I'm looking at it. I was like, okay.
No, well, because I have to actually, run the show and kind of keep track of all the shit that's going on.
That's
while
what you're here for.
You just get to sit back and comment on whatever's going on.
Right.
Anyway.
And drink.
Favorite sketch. Anton Jackson. I don't even know if you remember who he is from In Living Color versus Tyrone Biggums.
I went with Tyrone Biggums. Now, Anton Jackson was huge.
Yeah.
Like as far as like people being over the top like characters.
Yeah.
He was big for his time.
I remember I loved his character because again, In Living Color was huge in my house.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So his character was basically Damon Wayans playing like a bum, right? Like he wasn't a crackhead like fucking Tyrone Biggums,
right?
But he was just a bum who would always find his way into these
shook like this.
Yeah, who would find his way into some sort of like hoity-toity sort of environment. And it
was funny. It was definitely funny.
And that's why I picked him because that it was an old favorite of mine. But obviously Tyrone won 75% to 25%.
I don't know if you know this about me, Joe Rogan. I smoke rocks.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about him a little bit later on in this episode. So we'll just leave it at that. I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. All right. So this one, there has to be some caveats thrown into this one. This is Eddie Murphy versus Richard Pryor.
Right.
So I, like a lot of other people, probably picked Eddie Murphy because of the familiarity, right? Eddie Murphy was our time. Richard Pryor was kind of a half generation before us.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to his stand-up stuff. I know Richard Pryor more for the movies that he was in. The See No Evil, Hear No Evil, the Superman 3s,
right?
That kind of shit. But, in the 60s and I think early 70s, he was huge into stand-up comedy.
Big in the 70s.
And he was groundbreaking. If you listen to any current comedian, you listen to a Chappelle or an Eddie Murphy or any of these guys talk about who's the greatest of all time, they'll all say Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Like hands down. So this poll takes nothing away from that, from the fact that Richard Pryor, for a lot of people, was
he's not necessarily
guy.
he's not a Gen Xers comedian,
right.
like, whereas Eddie Murphy was.
Exactly.
Eddie Murphy probably introduced you to some of your first cuss words,
probably,
because you snuck in and saw Eddie Murphy Raw, or you heard about Delirious and you're like, oh man, I want to see that.
Well, the first VHS that I personally owned myself was Trading Places.
Okay.
Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah,
great movie,
dude.
Jamie Lee Curtis in the flesh.
And that was if you're talking about like just the stand-up comedy, Richard Pryor, my parents had Richard Pryor albums. Like,
right.
So I got to hear like Richard Pryor, and he would be on HBO and stuff like that. So I probably heard Richard Pryor stand up as much as I heard Eddie Murphy's early. And for me, I think Eddie Murphy was still funnier just because like Eddie Murphy did voices and like he did other characters, stuff like that. Whereas Richard Pryor was just funny.
Right. And I mean, for Eddie Murphy, the thing that'll always stick out, I think it was during Raw, was when he talked about Italians going to see Rocky.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Oh my God. That's the funniest fucking
this skit
bit.
where he's talking about San Francisco. Like, if you talk about stuff that you can't do these days, right?
Oh,
even for him,
yeah.
Right? Like woo, woo, pull over, bend over. I gotta frisk you. Like,
oh my God,
you can't do that shit anymore. Oh
no! Did you just throw Boba Fett in the trash?
He leapt into the Starlight Pit for some reason.
Wow, maybe it's because Tom Brady was close and he couldn't take it anymore.
Fucking right.
All right, so that was it. And if I didn't mention, Eddie Murphy won 66% to 34%. Again, not taking anything away from Richard. We fully acknowledge his importance and his greatness. Yeah. But for us Gen Xers, it was all about Eddie.
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah, they did like 3 movies together, but the one I remember is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. So, all right. Well, that was a very elongated this or that. Yeah. And we've still got so much more to get to before we get to our main topic.
Like what?
First, I want to give a shout out to our long-term listener, guy who's been with us from the very beginning, Wally Frogmore, that has been listening to us doing the All Things Star Wars podcast for years,
right?
And has stuck with us all the time. He did. Apparently, he was sick yesterday.
Yeah.
And in his fever delirium, he did a sketch of me and posted it into the Sidebar Cantina private Facebook group.
Did he draw you like one of his French girls?
No, thankfully. That might have been a little disturbing.
Please.
Me in the Kate Winslet pose from fucking Titanic.
Yes.
With nothing but the fucking heart of the ocean around my neck.
Yes. Make that happen. Make it happen, people. I know you can do it.
That would be hilarious.
Look, if you do it, I'll put it on a t-shirt. You heard it here right now. If somebody draws that, and it has to look good, but if somebody draws that, I will digitize it and it'll be on a fucking shirt. And you can go to TeePublic and you can fucking buy.
Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
And I'll buy Jason one that he can wear. I'll put it on a tank top.
Ooh, I would wear it then.
To the gym.
Ooh. Okay, so that's like
take your traditional pose.
We would have to
put it on a mask, so you'd have to wear it on your face. You'd have it on your fucking shirt.
No, see, if we did that, it'd have to be some sort of a thing. Like if we sell X amount of shirts with this logo, then I'll wear it to the gym one day and take gym pictures.
Fair. That's fair.
So we'll have to come up with something.
So first we need the image. We get the image. I'll get the shirt.
Yeah, can't do anything without the image. So Jesus Christ.
Speaking of, I'm a little disappointed. Speaking of funny things on shirts, our friends, the Escape Pod, they have a TeePublic page as well, and they have a Brady Dab shirt. I bought one of those. I was hoping to be ready for today, but I'll as soon as it comes in, I'll be wearing it. And yeah, that's just. And Brady's in here, so I know he would love to see me adorned in his shirt while he dabs.
Right, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Wally because he's awesome. I love that image. So thanks. And if you want to see that, join the Sidebar Cantina private Facebook group. So search Sidebar Cantina on Facebook, click join, answer the questions, and if we like your face, we'll let you in.
Yes.
And that's basically, if you want to get a hold of us, that's probably the best way.
Yeah, because I'm we'll get into it in our weeks, but I haven't really been on social media a whole lot.
I've noticed.
So, and that's been deliberate.
Yeah.
But I'll get into Cantina because that's our people.
Yep. And we love you. So, little nugget of news happened today. Little thing in science and
this
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
This little thing that happened.
So we talked about the Perseverance rover landing on Mars and the Ingenuity drone, copter, whatever you want to call it, the spacecraft or the hovercraft.
No.
Or, well, what do they officially refer to it as?
Well,
do they refer to it as a drone?
No.
So what is it?
That question actually came up today. We're talking about Ingenuity flying today.
Yes, it flew today, early this morning.
Early this morning, it flew. We got our first looks at it at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, so one of the reporters asked that question. I think it was the Irish Times or something. Asked
fucking Irish.
asked about so why don't they? I think what he said specifically was like the copy editors are wondering why you call it a rotorcraft and not a drone, right? What's the difference?
Sure.
And legitimately, by definition, it could be called a drone. Right,
because that's what a lot of people were referring to it as.
Yeah, and you know what, the drone bit, the engineer, like the chief engineer, said that the drone is more like implying something commercial off the shelf, whereas this is a rotorcraft that was built specifically for this thing. So, like when you say drone, you think of something like mine. You know, I'll go online and I'll buy, and you can fly pretty easily. Whereas this is not that. So he said, this is the chief engineer, by the way. He said if you use the term like appropriately, like got into how specifically this aircraft was built for this extraterrestrial flying, then you could call it a drone. But basically what he was saying was, don't call it a fucking drone. Like that this is the chief engineer without him just turning to the camera and saying like, don't call it a fucking drone. Which I get it. I totally get it because look, as a fucking aerospace guy, all of the fucking aeronautical nerds orgasmed today. Yeah. Watching this thing fly. And you think that like, oh God, all it is, you think how easy it is. Drones are so prolific right now, but think about what this thing is doing.
Right.
Like it is a rotorcraft, which is notoriously hard to fucking fly regardless, even in normal atmosphere, right? You're flying in just such a like single digit percentages of the fucking atmosphere that you have in Earth. You have to design this thing so it would be light enough, which is what the engineers had said. Like the biggest challenge to this fucking project was making this machine light enough to actually get on the fucking rover to fly up. Oh, by the way, it was a fucking add-on. Like they're like part of the project. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we want to get this on to Perseverance. So how do we do that? So now all JPL and fucking the Marshall Space Center and everybody else, they had to get together to fucking figure out, okay, where are we going to do? It's like, all right, we're going to slap it underneath. We're going to fucking drop it off. Like put the gear out. And yeah, we had a couple week delay.
Yeah.
And we got it. It finally flew today. It's fucking exciting, dude.
Oh, I know. And, we talked about this during the Mars episode, especially when we talked about the Perseverance and everything. This is a massive achievement in all of human history, potentially in the history of the fucking universe.
Yeah.
Because we, as a species, have now not only traveled to, or at least put equipment onto another planet, we have now achieved flight on another planet.
So, and I think the biggest takeaway is, right, Ingenuity itself, they have a 30-day window, and we're already a couple weeks into it, unfortunately. But they have 30 days to fly this thing. The Ingenuity team basically plans on flying it until it breaks, within that 30 days. They'll do whatever they can do to maximize the distances that they're going to fly and all this stuff. But that's it. After 30 days, Perseverance moves on to its next thing.
Is Ingenuity like dead in the water after that?
Probably. But so it's like anything else, right? You launch these things up into space, and it's very like each thing that it's going to do is like, okay, it's going to do on Sol fucking 38, it's going to do this for fucking 15 minutes, and then everything is planned out to the T, because you're limited in power, right? You're limited in how close Mars is in a particular orbit. You're the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. You have all these factors that are in play. So when you're trying to do things like this, like fly a helicopter on a fucking, hundreds of millions of miles away, right? After that 30 days, the Perseverance is not going to dedicate any more bandwidth to whatever Ingenuity is.
Right, because it's got its own missions
Yeah.
that it has to work on.
So it's like whatever happens to Ingenuity, it'll land and it'll probably sit. And who knows? Like, you could get to a point where it's like, you know what, Ingenuity's still talking to us. Maybe we can, fly and do something else with it.
Right.
But
I don't know. I guess I just kind of envisioned that it would like kind of stay with Perseverance wherever it went. And
so they're actually saying that they might not even get a picture of Perseverance from Ingenuity, because so they were talking about the camera that's on Ingenuity, like originally supposed to be in like portrait mode, which would have got like more of the horizon. So like when it pans, it could have picked up the rover.
Sure.
But they couldn't, like in the design, they couldn't do portrait. So they had to just do landscape mode. So by luck, they might catch Perseverance in the fucking image, but that's not what they're trying to do.
Right. And if nothing else, this kind of lays the groundwork and sets the stage for future endeavors where they maybe bring a more advanced hovercraft out to fucking Mars, 10, 15 years from now. So, but they had to have their first go at it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're learning a ton from this experience.
And what I learned today from listening to, I listened to the 2:00 press conference, like in its entirety. I had it on while I was working, and I think they're working a mission right now to put a similar craft, not the same, but something similar on Titan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're planning on flying on Titan. And the idea is that you have this craft and you can't put a rover like on the side of a mountain, right? You can't land it there. It can't drive there. But now this idea where you could get a flying device, something that can be scaled, right? Especially in Titan, because they said Titan, because it's heavier atmosphere. You have more atmosphere, it's easier to fly.
Sure.
Right. Density altitude's less, becomes easier to fly, right? So the idea that like, okay, we were able to do this, is how the command structure worked. This is how we tested to make sure it was going to work. They said when it flew exactly like it did in the vacuum chamber, like when they simulated the atmospheric environment. Right. And what's really amazing is like, again, it's the little things you don't think about. Like there was a little bit of wind on Mars. Oh, right. And so you could see Ingenuity like correcting in the wind, like it was like moving like a drone would.
Sure.
And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
For such a short, it seems like such a small thing, and people wonder like, well, it's a big deal. It's a big fucking deal. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's going to pave the way for so much. And we're watching this groundbreaking science happen
during our lifetimes.
Yeah, in our lifetime, in near real time.
Yeah.
And you can go on NASA.gov right now, go to Perseverance's page. You can go to the images. They have all the images that they downloaded are available. You can look at all this shit. Now there's 1,400 images of that particular fucking flight. So good luck.
Right.
Sorting through all of it. But
how do you kill that which has no life?
The other, I don't know what that quote's from. I don't. Sorry.
Somebody out there's got to know.
I'm sure they do.
Tell us in the chat.
The other cool thing, like again, aeronautical nerdness. Not trying to go too deep into it, but
I'm about to pull out the wrap it up box.
Yeah, wrap it up, B. The ICAO identification. So if you've ever flown in an airplane, you may have gotten,
which we have a couple of times.
Maybe once or twice.
Maybe.
Yeah. If you look at your ticket, right, it'll say like PHL. If you're going to LAX, it'll say LAX, right? Why is LAX called LAX? Well, because that's its ICAO identifier. Technically, it's K Kilo Lima Alpha X-ray, right? So KLAX is your full ICAO identifier. So every airport, that's pretty much every airport. There's criteria where it actually gets the 4-letter designator, but every airport has this 4-letter identifier by the ICAO. So today in the press conference, they released the fact that the area where Ingenuity flew is going to be called Wright Brothers Field.
Yes.
Right. And that airfield is going to have an ICAO of Juliet, Zulu, Romeo, Oscar for Jezero Crater. Right.
Sure.
So, and for me, like seeing that, I took a picture with it on my phone. I posted it in the cantina because, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of people probably that like you have to go to a lot of fucking airports and really know what you're looking at.
Right.
So
I mean, you and I do based on our previous careers
to realize how fucking cool that is.
Yeah.
Right. The aircraft actually got a fucking identifier and there's an airfield. And you know what's amazing? Like, again, Dave, why the fuck do we care that they made this like token effort of fucking giving a 4-letter identifier to something on Mars? Because in 200 fucking years, when we're making regularly scheduled flights to Mars, I guarantee you that it's still going to be Juliet Zulu Romeo Alpha.
Yep.
Or Oscar is going to be the identifier because that's how shit happens. That's how like shit, like why is Rome called Rome, right? Why these things happen and this was the first, so it'll always be called that.
Yeah. And again, this happened during our lifetime.
Our lifetime. So hundreds of years from now, people are going to be going to Mars and going to that fucking airport or at some other airfields on fucking Mars. Then they'll all start with J. Yeah. Because that's what'll that'll be a thing. Like everything has a beginning, and for aviation, the way we started and where we're going, like obviously not in the next 20 years, but hopefully within our lifetimes, we'll actually see humans go stand on Mars.
That's the goal.
And then interplanetary travel now it becomes a real thing.
Yeah,
in our lifetime, and it's fucking phenomenal. So it's super, super exciting. If you don't nerd out to this stuff like I do or Jason does, I'm sorry. Like you're missing out. You're kind of missing out.
Yeah.
Like is this the fucking moon landing? No, but it's fucking close.
Yeah.
It's fucking close.
Yep. Indeed. All right. Moving on from that. You ready to get into our weeks?
Yes.
All right. So for me, we're continuing on with the Vegas prep here in my house. We've been watching Vegas themed movies leading up to our Vegas vacation next month in May. And the most recent movie we watched was Viva Las Vegas, starring one Elvis Presley from 1964. Fun fact, Kristen and I had neither ever seen an Elvis movie.
Okay.
Ever. I have almost no fucking exposure to Elvis, aside from a few mainstream songs that he did.
Right.
So this was all new territory for me. And man, watching this movie. Okay, so the cool stuff about this movie was seeing the old Vegas Strip, right? From the 60s, because if you're familiar with Vegas, and we'll get into it when we get into our Vegas episode, but there's the Fremont Street, which is the old strip, which is where everything started. But now everything's moved to the new strip, which was where all the new bigger casinos are.
Right.
But in this movie, Fremont Street was the strip. And you get a whole bunch of really cool scenes of the big casinos at the time, the Golden Nugget and shit like that. So it was a good look at that. As a movie, at times it was very cringy. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was an hour and 20 something minutes, so it went by pretty quick. But God,
all those people that paid a nickel to go see it, though, it made a lot of nickels because it was Elvis.
Right, exactly. And I can see the appeal for like, but again, my mother was 5 years old when this came out. Mm-hmm. So this obviously wasn't targeted at her. I guess my grandparents, this was there because I know my grandmother, she loved Elvis.
Right.
So I guess this was targeted at our grandparents' generation. And I'm watching it now. I'm like, man, this is something else.
See, it's in that weird, like Korean War veteran, like, just past World War II, just outside that boomer range.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. I have to see something.
We're just going to sit here in silence while Dave looks something up.
Well, it would be silence if I wasn't making noise and the train didn't go by. So fun fact about Elvis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my lovely wife, was born on Elvis's birthday.
Oh, nice.
the only real serious relationship I had prior to her was born the day Elvis died.
Wow.
Yeah. Like the day that Elvis died.
Like she was born on that exact
Yes.
same day. Wow.
Yeah. So, and what was funny was the ex-girlfriend, her grandmother or one of the relatives had like it was basically like, how could you be born today type thing, because Elvis was dead.
Right.
It was one of those things that like, it's kind of funny, right? But like in family scenarios where it's just like, oh god, she's going on about this again, right? like she had any control or whenever she was born.
Right.
But it's it's just one of those things where I don't have any connection to Elvis either.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, because he died in 77.
Yep.
So I was not even a year old when he died.
Yeah, we have like, it really has no impact on us at all. I mean,
Yeah.
well, it does musically and everything else. Elvis has,
well, sure, yeah, he has some long-term influence,
obviously, but this idea that the girl that I dated for a minute was born the day Elvis died, and then the girl I marry was born when Elvis was born. It's just so fucking weird.
That is interesting.
It's just
really interesting.
It's really strange. So yeah, there's fucking
well, and the one where he was born is the one that worked out. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just.
I'm sure you can look deep into that and find some sort of.
Oh, I'm sure there's some astrological.
Some sort of hidden meaning there.
For me, it's just an interesting coincidence.
Yeah. So to get this movie, we went on to Amazon, and I think to rent it was $3.99, but to buy it was $4.99. So for an extra $1, you just get to buy it.
Now you own it.
Yeah, and now we own it forever. It's tied to our Amazon account, so anytime I want, I can watch Elvis and Anne Margaret have a very strange relationship. The whole movie was fucking strange, man. Just really, really weird. You're sitting here watching these characters, especially the female, Anne Margaret, and you're wondering, like, why the fuck she's making the choices that she's making, and it's just like, very different style of storytelling back then, is all I can say. It was a different time.
Anne Margaret is fucking hottie.
Speaking of Vegas, the night after Kristen and I watched Viva Las Vegas, I had a dream about you.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
So it was weird because I had a dream that we were in Vegas at this point, right? We had gone to Vegas.
Okay.
You and Kate's boyfriend were also there. Yeah.
So me, my daughter, and her boyfriend.
Yes. And for some reason, even though we have our reservations at the Bellagio, and I knew it even in the dream, you, me, Kristen, Kate, and her boyfriend all stayed in some fucking dingy, dirty fucking motel, like off the main strip. Like we were all staying there for some reason. And then at one point, Kate and her boyfriend are just like, we're out of here. So it was you, me, and Kristen sharing a fucking dirty, nasty fucking motel room when I knew that we had reservations at the fucking Bellagio, but we didn't go. We decided to stay in this fucking... I have no idea.
What the fuck?
Dreams are weird. And why you were there in the first place, I have no fucking clue.
Even weirder is at least we sit here and see each other once a week, right? You've never met my daughter's boyfriend.
No, never.
You've met my daughter a handful of times. So why are they there?
I have no idea. I really have no idea.
Wow, dude.
It was
this Ambien infused?
No, I haven't had Ambien in over a year now.
God damn, dude.
So I don't know what the fuck.
That's fucking weird, man.
It is.
I don't think we were ever in Vegas together. Like all the trips.
I was in Vegas at least twice with our old squadron, but I don't recall you being there. I was there the night Obama was elected for president in 2008. Were you on that trip?
I was not.
Yeah, I was there with Mike Glover. So yeah, it was
a celebration.
It was a celebration.
Yeah, I don't think we were ever in Vegas together. I've been there probably a dozen times.
Lifetime? Maybe. Yeah, I've been there probably close to.
With the unit, I would probably there. But
suck my unit
more than a dozen times, honestly.
Oh no, with our old squadron, I think I was only ever there twice. Yeah. But I mean, personally, I'd been there.
It was a good trip to do check rides on.
Yeah, I bet. All right. So anyway, that was that. The other thing that I did this week. So I know I talked about it over the last couple of weeks, doing like a retro gaming stream kind of thing. I got all of my hardware in and I got it all set up over this last weekend. I did some tests and everything works. I had a PlayStation 2 when you came in today.
Yep.
You saw the PlayStation 2 I had here on the table. But yeah, I can stream basically any retro console that I want at this point.
Nice.
I have it all set up to flow and everything. The only thing that's holding me back right now is I need a good overlay through like OBS or whatever I'm going to use to actually broadcast out to Twitch, because I did a very basic overlay. It looked like shit. I'm like, presentation wise, this is garbage, and I would like feel shitty about myself if I tried to push this out as any kind of a stream.
No, I can appreciate that. The production value means a lot.
Right. So I need to start creating something that's more aesthetically pleasing.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm like ready to roll.
Nice.
So like all the hardware, everything's good to go with the computer and everything else. So I even know what I'm doing as my first games out the gate. The first game that I'm going to do, I'm going to stream it and I'm going to make a YouTube video about it, is a game called Jade Cocoon. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, it was more of it was a PlayStation 1 game.
Okay. That
was kind of a Pokemon clone. Now, I don't know if you remember much of the Pokemon craze in the late 90s.
It was in between that for me.
Right. Because for me, like, I never got into it, but I worked at a GameStop. Well, it was Software Etc. at the time in the late 90s. I had a second job even when I was in the Air Force. And all I remember is these fucking shithead kids dragging their fucking parents into Software Etc. looking for either Pokemon games, Pokemon cards, Pokemon fucking toys, whatever. And they had their fucking parents wrapped around their little fucking fingers over there in Morristown, New Jersey, where all the fucking Richies live. And these parents are frantic trying to buy all this Pokemon shit for their kids. And I dealt with that shit for a year, and I fucking hated the whole concept of Pokemon, right? Jade Cocoon was... it was basically a clone of the Pokemon style game, but it was more adult like.
Okay.
So I gravitated towards that because of it was more of a role playing game and everything else. And I loved it. I fucking loved that game. Haven't played it in a good 15, 16 years. So I'm going to revisit it and see if it's as good as I remember it.
Nice.
So that's the first game on the docket. After that, it's Final Fantasy VIII, a game that I loathed back in the day, but I'm intent on finishing it one of these days because I never finished it. Huge fan of Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VIII came out and I fucking despised it, but I want to try to finish it one of these days. So that's the second game.
So everyone's going to get to watch your pain.
Yes.
Muddling through fucking Final Fantasy VIII. Okay, I got you.
And Stonebleeds is asking about Battletoads for the Wii. I don't know if they had it for the Wii. I remember the original Battletoads. I don't know if you ever played that, but hard as shit game, but it was actually kind of fun.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that at another time. The only other thing that I had for this week was I picked up the guitar again. You might be able to see it on the stream. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I had put it down for a couple of months, but I recently picked it up couple weeks ago and I've been playing it every day and
having a fucking guy in here playing it,
yes,
right?
Like every time I see Nick posting something to his YouTube channel or something like that, I'm like, fuck, I need to pick up the guitar again and like start practicing and playing.
Which, by the way, so we don't forget, since his name came up, the Sweet Studios on YouTube, go follow them. They fucking did a release for Creeping Death.
Yeah, it was good.
Fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that singer he got, really good.
Yeah, it was really well put together. Fucking highly recommend. Go to Sweet Studios. Tell them that we sent you.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, so I've been playing the guitar every day for the last week or so, and it's been fun. And I'm really enjoying it. And I'm sad I fucking put it down for a couple of months. Yeah. But it's a matter of time.
It honestly is, dude. Time is the most expensive commodity.
Yeah, and there's not enough of it.
Or most valuable commodity, I should say.
Yes.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Even a minute of breathing helps creativity. That's what my watch just told me.
Oh, wow. Your watch is very profound. So anyway, that's my week in a nutshell. What's been going on with... Oh, well, hold on. We're pausing for a second because we have some gifts from the other room.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Look at this.
Apparently we got a cookie delivery.
Oh,
mid-show.
My God. Did you get some for Jason too?
No.
Oh, excellent.
That's fair. I probably shouldn't have anything like
I will
that.
take them.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
If there's babies in them, I'm going to be upset. Missed opportunity, huh?
Wow. So anyway, what have you been doing this week?
So honestly, I'm not eating it. I'm just licking my fingers. I don't remember. I don't remember what I did this week. Like, so we got into the weekend and we watched my niece this weekend. And it was a blast. You know, our kids are all grown, so like having a 10-year-old's energy in the house is fucking exhausting.
I would imagine.
So, especially when you have adult children and you're not used to that level of energy for like fucking 48 straight hours,
and they all want your fucking attention.
Oh, dude, like, it's fucking amazing. So we went down Saturday. We went down to the shore to the Cape May Zoo. So you've heard us talk about like this area and things to do, right? So about like an hour and 15 minutes from here, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how you go. There's the Cape May Zoo, and it's free, right? It's free admission. You know, you kind of pay a donation if you want to get in, but it's a free zoo, and it's a legit zoo. It's not like what used to be out by the base. Remember that fucking pet store that had like a bunch of crazy animals and shit like that?
They had like fucking giraffes there, though. Yeah. It was like literally like an old house.
Yep.
That they had a big yard and somebody just bought it and like, this is a zoo now.
Yeah, this is a zoo now.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy fucking animals. They ended up getting shut down. Thank God.
Yeah, shocking.
And it was a puppy mill. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
The Cape May Zoo is a legit zoo. So like if you're one of those people that listen to us and you're in the area, and like I tell people on the active duty people especially that there is a lot to do within a couple hour drive of where you're sitting right now.
Oh, absolutely. We're in a very advantageous location.
Yeah. I mean, and like one of the best zoos in the country is in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Zoo, the regular zoo. If you're into zoos, now not everybody is, and I get it. But it's a great way to keep a kid occupied, and it's free. So we took her down there, and I took a bunch of pictures. And honestly, kids get bored of me taking pictures. Right? Any kid, and including my wife, like me taking 100 pictures of fucking flamingos, trying to get just the right angle to make like with the sun just right with the color, because it was kind of cloudy, so waiting for the right lighting condition and everything else. And even me just talking about it, like my wife would just be like, all right, we're walking away now.
Right.
Which happened a lot. But this fucking zoo had these monkeys, and I forget what kind of monkeys they were. I'm awful. They weren't howler monkeys, but they fucking made a noise that was so fucking loud that you could probably have heard it for like 10 miles.
You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
It was like that. It was like that. They made this like whoop, like this whoop sound, and then like, and it was fucking like we're on the other side of the zoo, right? And it's huge. They have a safari area. They have giraffes. I'm telling you, it's a great zoo, especially for free. We're on the other side of the fucking zoo. We hear all this noise. We're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we thought they were like piping it through the speakers for some reason. Right. Because it was so fucking loud. And then you walk up on it and you're like, I can't believe this much fucking noise is coming out of a living thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. And we're just like, all right, I guess we're done. So we left there, went down to the Sunset Beach, where the whole Cape May Diamond thing. We talked about that before, doing the rock collecting on the beach down there, and then stopped at the lighthouse, and then came back, and that was the day, right? Exhausted, fucking whatever. Go to bed, wake up the next day, and go to the beach again. But this time we went to the dog beach. We took our dog and my niece down to the beach and let them run around. On the way back, right? Again, this being New Jersey, and most people are familiar with Atlantic City, at least in some form or fashion, right? Either they saw something about it on Sopranos or the Boardwalk series that was on HBO.
The opening scene of Ocean's 11 is in Atlantic City.
Yeah. So Atlantic City, it was a place. There was a place to be at one point in time.
Yeah.
In 1881, this real estate guy decides he's going to build this like 50-foot tall fucking elephant, and he's going to use it as a fucking real estate thing. Like, oh, look, a giant elephant. Hey, let's go see what's going on over there. And when he showed up, it's like, oh, he's a real estate guy and he's selling fucking beachfront property. here's the problem. You build this giant elephant, right? But it's 5 miles from Atlantic City where the train is. And this is 1881.
Right.
When if there wasn't a train going there was no fucking cars and it was all sand. So you had to walk 5 miles to get to where he was. Yeah, of course, it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
So he went bankrupt, but he built this fucking thing and it's called Lucy. So
it's still there?
It's still there.
Holy shit.
So built in 1881, it's moved from its original spot. There's a whole history about it. I'm not going to get into it here, but I've driven by it 100 times easily. It's one of those things where you just drive by. Hey kids, look at this giant elephant. Like, oh my God, look at that thing. Right? Mm-hmm. And you just keep going. Right? Because who the fuck wants to go into this thing?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? We're in the area. Let's drive by it because we're looking for lunch anyway. So like, let's drive by and so she's never seen it. She didn't know it was there.
Sure.
And I queued it up with like, hey, there's something interesting. It's going to be on the right-hand side, right?
Right.
We're driving by and she sees it. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like 10 years. She didn't say fuck, but she might as well have. So we pull in and my intention was just to get a couple pictures outside of it, right? It's this big thing. It's America's oldest fucking roadside attraction. It's a national historical landmark. And I'm like, yeah, we'll just get some pictures. It's a novelty, right? And I asked her, like, yeah, did you want to go inside? And she's like, I want to go inside. I'm like, no, okay. All right. Uncle Dave is weak when it comes to shit like that.
Right.
So Uncle Dave goes in and we fucking buy tickets. Free for military, by the way.
Sweet.
Free for military. $4 for kids under 12. All right. So if you're ever interested in going down there, and so we went in, they had just enough people for fucking social distancing. And I'm like, this is what I'm expecting, right? Going inside this giant fucking elephant. If I had been smart, I would have fucking had a picture ready to post up. Giant fucking elephant. You're like, the inside of it's going to be like scaffolding and it's fucking built in fucking mid 18th or mid 19th century, right? So you're thinking this thing's going to be a shit wagon. Dude, you went inside, it was a giant fucking like living space.
Really?
Right? To the point where last year Airbnb actually you could rent the room out.
Get the fuck out.
They had like a bed, had the whole, dude, it was fucking amazing. It was amazing inside.
That's great.
You would never expect it.
Like plumbing, like a bathtub?
So no plumbing. It never had plumbing in it.
Okay.
Even when originally.
So if you do an Airbnb, like where do you take a shit?
You'd go somewhere else to do it.
Obviously.
It's for one night, right? You go there for one night. Just as
I have to shit every day. So where am I going to shit?
They have a porta pot.
All right, fair enough.
I'm sure they had something set up for people with the Airbnb.
I would hope so.
That's what it was. They did it as a novel thing. But if you're out there, you're like fucking craziness that like look up Lucy. It's the America's oldest roadside attraction, built in 1881. Really, really fucking cool. It's not in the original spot that it was built in. It's 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
There's this fucking high rise where it was. But over the years, there's like been these projects to keep it fucking restored and everything else. Really, really cool. Something to see when you're in New Jersey. In fact, if we ever get the guys back from Michigan, instead of doing the up north stuff, we'll go down to like Atlantic City and we'll take them down. They can go see the giant fucking elephant.
There you go.
Anyway, I can't believe Jason hasn't seen it. I unless you're going specifically to go there, I don't know why. Yeah. Honestly, you would see it. I think the reason I saw it was because I've actually ridden my bike from Atlantic City like down to Wildwood, like on Ocean Drive.
God damn.
So yeah, it's a hell of a ride. But I had ridden by it, I think, when I was like 16, 17 years old.
Uh-huh.
And that's like my first time seeing it. So that like, car rides and like, stuff like that, then driving by it.
Yeah. Dragon Buddy saw it as a kid.
Yeah, I'll bet like so many people from up in the northeastern PA would like end up going down the shore. Coming that far south though is kind of different. But if people are in Atlantic City, it's 5 miles from the center.
5 mile.
So that was
again. I need to pull out the wrap it up box at this point.
Shut up. I'm talking as long as you did. That was pretty much the weekend. Like a lot of fun down the shore. The poor dog was a mess though while we were in Giant Elephant because the dog was in the car with Kathy.
Oh,
and it's poor Kathy. I'm gonna make this. this is kind of it for my week, but I'm going to make this PSA for the benefit of everyone.
Oh, I'm curious where you're going with this.
So it is a well-documented rant on the podcast about how I feel about bicyclists, right?
Yes.
Or asshole bicyclists. Because I used to be one, and there's a lot of fucking dirtbags out there that fucking don't think the rules apply to them. The same thing goes for motorcycles. And I know a lot of people that are motorcycle riders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Decent human beings.
Sure.
I don't know what it is about people that ride motorcycles, drive BMWs, whatever. They decide they're going to fucking be assholes when you're in doing 65 miles an hour in traffic, in moderate traffic, and a motorcycle decides it's going to fucking come like down the fucking middle of the lane in between cars to fucking zoom inside you and fucking go around and then cut a bunch of people off to get off at a fucking exit. You know what? You're a fucking douchebag. Like, I 100% am that person that will give motorcycle riders a lot of space because I know what their reaction time has to be and everything else.
Sure.
I'm more than willing to give them a lot of space. You know what I can't fucking prevent is you going down the middle of the fucking road, weaving in and out of fucking traffic. What happens if you fucking lay it down? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to yield to you fucking sliding on the fucking because you're being an asshole? No, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, you want to ride a motorcycle, you want that whole fucking experience, right? Cool. But you follow the rules of the road, and just because there's a couple of cars of traffic that maybe aren't going as fast as you want them to do, and you decide, I'm just going to go fucking blowing through the middle of them, that's on you, dude. That's on you if I fucking decide that I'm going to turn you into a pile of paste in the fucking road. Because you're being an asshole. You're basically turning that fucking thing into a weapon at that point. That family full of fucking kids that'll be mortified when they see your dead body on the side of the road because you're being a fucking asshole.
Dude, you should sit in LA traffic for a while. The fucking assholes on motorcycles, when you're in dead stop fucking 405 freeway, LA traffic, and these motherfuckers are just going between lanes of cars.
Yeah. And even with that, that's annoying. But even with that, you're sitting still. I'm talking, we're doing fucking highway speeds.
Yeah.
Right? And there's several cars. It's not just like one car you go around, like fucking go pass in the right lane or anything like. No. This is right down the middle of the fucking road in front of a bunch of traffic doing between 65 and 70 miles an hour. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. And I don't. And that same person will fucking be like, in their regular motor vehicle, be like, make sure you're watching for motorcyclists.
Nah, fuck them.
You.
Yeah.
Like, I will watch for you. I will watch for you when you're in the lane of traffic like a normal vehicle. I will give you the appropriate amount of space because I understand that there's a margin of safety that you don't have because you're on a motorcycle. So I will give you the appropriate amount of space. Every time. I'm super, super conscious. Like, or paranoid, whatever.
Right.
But of motorcyclists. But when this fucking jackwagons do shit like that, and I've been on the fucking turnpike doing 80 miles an hour on the fucking Jersey Turnpike and have a fucking group of them come and do that shit. They're on the fucking shoulder going around traffic. Like, dude, what the fuck? You're not going to be able to identify the fucking remains. It's going to be fucking a helmet and a bunch of leather.
Yeah, it's going to be a red streak on the fucking pavement.
And for what? For what? I get this fucking exhilaration of speed and everything else. Go watch fucking Top Gun. But but to do that within traffic, like you're in an open fucking road, have at it, dude. Whatever. You're not affecting anybody else. Go do your thing. But as soon as you're going to fucking dart in and out of traffic. And they're going to do that, and they have the audacity to do that, and they're assholes, and fuck them. But then the same people that want to be on the drama book being like, oh, people don't pay attention to motorcyclists. Oh, fuck you. I'm tired of hearing it. Stop driving like an asshole. All of you. Stop doing it. And you know what? People will give you more space because you're not being an asshole. And oh, by the way, do you really need to have your fucking bike sound as loud as a fucking 57 Chevy with fucking cherry bombs on it. Like,
Right.
like, oh, this is so you know I'm coming. Blah, 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 blah. That fucking South Park episode with the fucking. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even want to get into it. Because I know a lot of people to ride Harleys, and like I said, they're good people. But fuck you to all this motorcycle. Like, pay attention.
And this is that time of year.
It is
The springtime when they all start coming out of the woodwork, and now all of a sudden on the highway, it's all these fucking guys on motorcycles just.
Can we turn this into an episode of Javen Dason just eat shit and not talk? But this is fucking delicious.
We could, but I don't know how interesting that would be to the rest of the audience.
Don't care.
Is that the end of your week?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, this is
I'll shut Dave up. Put a fucking chocolate chip cookie in his fucking mouth.
So instead of a wrap it up box, I just need a fucking
chocolate chip
cookie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Every time.
What the fuck, man?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the I have to pee sign.
Dude, you just have one in your hand.
No, it's the look here.
Oh.
Whatever. Anyway.
Well, maybe if you weren't working in here.
I know, right? I actually did real work in here this today and probably tomorrow too. So, all right. Before we get into our main topic, we're going to take a quick break and be right back after this word from our sponsors.
I can't even snap right without your sign.
I know, it sucks. But yeah, where the fuck did they go?
I don't know. Are you peeing or not?
Well, no, but now I want to know where the fucking P signs are.
I can tell you who didn't move them. This guy.
Where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Can we take bets on which rant Dave finally has a heart attack? I'm on medication. Dude, I was so mad, obviously. But this fucking dude. Dude's wearing like cargo pants, a short sleeve shirt. He had a helmet on, thank God. He's on this purple crotch rocket and just weaving in and out of traffic. And then he realizes, oh shit, here comes my fucking exit, and then cuts a bunch of people off. Dude, he could have. I think the worst part about that was because I've seen those wrecks. I've seen dead bodies because of fucking motorcycle wrecks. I don't want my niece to have that fucking image in her head. Fucking horrific. Just so you give me a cool guy. I don't know what this Santos Dumont is.
We need more ice. Where's my ice delivery service?
Did you ask for it?
I'm working on it.
Well,
one thing at a time.
Well, I have to pee.
Then go.
I don't need your wife fucking coming out the door while I'm taking a leak on the side of the house.
She's seen penises before. It's fine.
Listen, guy who just had a dream with me and your fucking wife.
Well, what I didn't bring up is that we were all sharing a bed together, but whatever. All right, I'll wait to send this text until you get back.
We gotta talk.
All right, let me get caught up on the chat because I have not seen anything going on in the chat in quite a while. So let me just scroll up. Brady, you're a nerdy geek, so it's cool. Play D&D. So Brady claims to play D&D, but is not a nerd. Yeah, okay, yeah. Jizro. Well, at least it was short, like my dick. Wait, never mind. Parents' generation, we're in love with him. Kelly's talking about our parents' generation loving Elvis. Yeah. Though again, like my mom was 5 when that movie came out. She was 17 when he died. So I don't know. Talking about dreams. Dragon Buddy says that there is some repressing sexual tension going on. I'm just trying to get caught up on the chat. All right, now I'm going to send the text about ice. We need more ice.
Got another TV?
The HD one. So that HD TV, that 24-inch Vizio, 2 Christmases ago, the BX AFIS had them on sale for like $60 or some shit like that. I'm like, well, I might as well buy a few of these. I mean, why not, right? So yeah, I bought like 3 of them at a time. One eventually ended up in Ben's room. One ended up in our living room, and then we still had the one left over. But now, as part of my setup, when I get the whole retro streaming going on, it's going to be somewhere over here.
I'm going to figure out how to incorporate that into the podcast screen too. Maybe mount it. Those mounts are cheap for those little TVs.
I think the biggest challenge is going to be finding. I don't even know if there are beams in this fucking structure.
You can, yeah. I have stud finders.
Well, that's the thing. Are there studs in this fucking weird add-on shack to my fucking house?
I'm going to go with yes.
But you don't sound confident.
This is a weird add-on. What is happening here? I have a great video of some dumbass pulling a wheelie down the road.
We had some plumbing done last week. And I think the comment from the plumber was, what did he say? Like, I've never seen anything like this before.
He goes, there's 3 types of pipe here. That is definitely not to code.
Right.
That makes sense.
And we're like, yeah, that we get that a lot with this house. So
once an electrician came to our house and rang the doorbell, and I opened it, and I just caught him saying, "What the hell?" Looking at the electrical. Yeah.
This whole house is so fucking weird. Yeah.
All right,
so you got some ice for us, or what? What's going on here? What?
Look at this!
What? Oh my god!
Look at that,
dude! I used to have one of those.
I think we all did.
Holy shit,
Look
man!
At this thing.
Well, thank you. Holy shit! Yeah, this was like a set. There was like there were like 5 of these with different art and everything. Oh my god, that's awesome! Thank you.
That is badass.
Real American hero. G.I. Joe was there.
I'm okay. I don't know about you. I need more later.
Probably will need more sooner than later. That fucking vehicle right there, my best friend Rob had that growing up. That's when
Hummers were brand new.
Yeah. He had that vehicle, that toy, though. It was awesome.
That's what's scary. Like, I remember when Humvees were like a brand new fucking thing.
Right. Well, they weren't really... Yeah, they didn't hit mainstream until Arnold started driving one. Like, he wanted to drive one as his personal vehicle.
Yeah, that's definitely... Fuck. Kristen gets a good one there. Game recognizes game there with Luna Girl. So I'm wondering, because we're going to start another 30 seconds, right? So I'm going to try and see if I can eat the entirety of this inside the 30 seconds.
All right. This is exclusive for the YouTube audience. Can Dave eat a whole cookie, a whole chunky cookie in 30 seconds?
You know what? I'm not going to, because these are so fucking good. I don't want to waste them.
Fucking rich, too. Holy shit.
Yeah, they are.
This is not part of my diet.
You're going to watch me get diabetes right here on the fucking podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I got diabetes. I don't think I've had any sugar today either.
That's good. Oh, so my buddy Brad, guy in my squadron that I work with, he got the snip done today, just like 2 hours ago.
Nice.
So I just got a message from him. Wish I had a good friend to recommend being put under for this shit. He's like, fuck, a goddamn needle in my balls. I'm like, well, you know.
Try a dozen needles in your balls. Yeah, I was awake.
Oh, I was too.
And I wouldn't get numb. I couldn't get numb.
Fuck.
So it was needle after needle after needle. And even after all that, I still felt a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember feeling, I think they stuck me like twice. But I got fairly numb, but I still remember the and the
pulling.
Oh, yeah.
And then the smell. Yeah. A lot of needles, dude. And every one of them was painful.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was the worst. if you're out there thinking about a vasectomy, right? A,
Well, first of all, A, worth it.
totally. B, could put under.
Right.
Put under. You're not going to lose man points or anything else. Remember Justin?
Oh, I do. He tried it once and he like backed out because he passed out or some shit.
Yeah, he passed out with a needle. He was going to be awake and he passed out with a needle, so he had to reschedule and fucking go again.
Keep in mind, this was a tough fucking guy. He was on that American Ninja Warrior TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he was, he was a manly man.
He made it to the semifinals.
Yeah.
He was in Vegas for it. Yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah. Get put under, dude. If you're out there.
I was never given that option. They're just like, we'll
Neither
give you.
was I. I didn't even know it was an option.
Yeah, they're like, we'll give you a local. We'll knock it out real quick. Boom, boom, you're out.
Well, boom, boom. All right.
Yeah.
And then another needle. And then another needle.
So I told him buy a couple of packages of frozen peas.
Oh, frozen peas are the bomb.
They're a godsend.
Look, honestly, frozen peas should be in your freezer no matter what. After post vasectomy or a regular injury, because they fucking conform so nicely. No sharp edges. It's a beautiful thing. And they're cheap. Just don't eat them. You don't eat them after that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this while we're still eating. Before we do our 30 seconds. Somebody's talking about saying the Wright brothers weren't first because of the launcher is like saying the Model T wasn't a car because there was no radio. Who's trying to make that argument?
I've never heard anything like that.
There's, you know what? There's always, yeah, I wear tight underwear, like Under Armour, holding up the balls. I have other issues with that, but anyway, we're talking.
Where did that come from?
It's in the chat. The chat people know. This won't make the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never heard that argument. B, every single thing, there is a contrarian out there that's going to say, well, that wasn't the first. Right? Like, okay. Well, is the first flight of a fucking balloon, right? Is that considered the first flight? Because it's not powered.
Right.
Because it's using fucking hot air. So how do you define it? Because honestly, when from an whatever, from that perspective, when you look at the country of Brazil claims first in flight.
Fuck Brazil.
Of course they do.
You know what? Fuck all of South America.
Yeah.
They can suck a dick.
Yeah. That's fucking ridiculous. And it's not just because it's fucking America. It's because prove it. Prove it. Prove it. Right now. And not some fucking website that's like, oh, BrazilFirstInFlight.com. Fuck you. No. Prove it. Prove it.
Yeah.
I have a degree in fucking aeronautics. Brazil had never came into the fucking picture. The fucking first in flight. What I was trying to say was, like, you look at where we went basically from 1903 to like throughout history. Wright brothers, what they started, everything was built on top of that. Right? Whatever was happening in Brazil or fucking flying balloons or anything else was irrelevant because powered flight stemmed from what the Wright brothers had done. Because honestly, the English took the next big step after Wright brothers.
Did they?
Yeah. It's a whole thing. I don't want to. I can do a whole lecture on fucking history of flight, but I'm not going to. Brazil is trying to make that argument. I don't fucking care. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I am a well-educated fucking human being that knows a lot about fucking aviation.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that Brazil's full of shit.
Yeah, and plus we could own Brazil in a matter of minutes if we wanted to. So fuck them.
Only notwithstanding, it's only worth owning the coast.
It's fair.
Amazon is. Well, I mean, whatever. Anyway, we ready?
No. Let me get my notes back up. Oh my god. This next part is going to be really hard to not get myself in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really want to say power
Yep.
in the voice of Clayton Bigsby.
Right.
But
This is one we should just have clips.
yeah.
This is Chappelle saying it, not us.
Yes.
But God, all the flags on fucking YouTube, I'm sure.
Oh man. Yeah. I'm sure we'll get demonetized and everything
Did you guys
else.
literally take a dump on Brazil once? Yes, as a matter of fact, I was on an aircraft that we had an issue where we had to dump fuel, and we dumped fuel directly over the Amazon. Which, to be fair, and a lot of you might be thinking like, "Oh my god, oh the Amazon, oh my god!" Right? First of all, you're at fucking 35,000 feet of altitude. That shit dissipates before it gets anywhere near the fucking ground. So cool your tits, okay? Second, we said we're sitting in a cockpit going like, you said, yeah, we said we had to dump like it was ridiculous amount of fuel. So it was like 60,000 pounds of fuel or some shit.
God damn.
Yeah, because we were going to fucking Morocco from Brazil nonstop.
Oof.
You need a lot of gas.
Mm.
So. And it was in an E model. So we requested, we told them we had to dump fuel to turn around and go back to Bolivia, right? And the controller's like, okay, go ahead. And we're looking out the window at the fucking Amazon. Like, what the fuck? Right? And we're like, confirm, like, we need to dump this fuel. Yeah, go ahead. So the Brazilians don't give a fuck about fucking the Amazon at that point. So we tried. We had to dump the gas, so we fucking did. And honestly, we didn't have a choice. I mean, it was going to happen regardless. I mean, it wasn't an emergency. It was a piece of navigational equipment that we just couldn't cross the ocean with. But yeah,
if only AOC could hear this, she'd be crying right now.
Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch. Anyway, almost ready.
My fun ass bitch.
To you and yours. Have a happy holiday.
All right, well, we need to say that for sure.
I know.
All right, we ready?
We don't want to blow our wads yet. Hold on, let me finish pouring my drink.
Drinks.
There's a process here.
I don't understand why you pour the booze. Pour the booze, then put the soda on top of it so it actually gets a natural mixing action. Like you take that first sip and you're like, oh my God, it's so strong. But it's because you're barely mixing it with your dirty ass finger.
Well, yeah, in a perfect world, it'd have something to fucking mix the shit with, but you got to make do with what you have.
That's why you pour the liquor in first.
I'm not a fucking bartender. I do what I can. All right.
Like, as speaking as an alcoholic that lived off of fucking rum and cokes, I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, I have no doubt I'm doing it wrong. I just, what do you want? What do you want?
All right. Anyway, ready?
Sure.
Too busy clinging to a cow fart. Oh my God.
Wait, what? Clinging to a cow fart? Oh,
AOC.
Yeah. So I know another thing to bring up that'll trigger Dave. Just mention AOC.
Stupid fucking broad.
Crying at the border.
She wouldn't know how to make a rum and coke. It's probably the only job she was ever good at.
The bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although she probably wasn't even good at that.
Probably not.
Ready, set, go.
And we're back. So, Chappelle Show. We're finally talking about it.
After
years, like literally 4 years of doing this podcast.
4 years and 90 minutes, we're finally doing.
Yeah, we're finally talking
Chappelle.
Chappelle Show. So, yeah, again, we're talking about the first 3 episodes of season 1.
Yep.
And as we always do, I like to go into a little bit of background first before we start getting into it. First, these first 3 episodes, the air dates, kind of shocking when you actually hear it and think about it. Episode 1, January 22nd, 2003. Over 18 years ago now
That's
is when Chappelle Show debuted. Fucking crazy. A kid who was born the day Chappelle Show first debuted can now buy pornography and can vote. Crazy to think about.
that is
right?
crazy to think about. I makes sense though.
Yeah.
Makes sense for the timing.
Yep. And then the 2 subsequent episodes, January 29th, 03 and February 5th, 03, were the start dates for these first 3 episodes. As we also do, we like to talk about our history with the show a little bit. So kind of going into it, for me, I tried to think back to when I was first exposed to Chappelle Show. There were times after it debuted where I would hear rumblings, kind of people talking about it. I'd even see clips somewhere, maybe in like commercials and whatnot. And I knew of Dave Chappelle mostly from Half Baked, right? The movie.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, I kind of knew of him, knew the show was out there, but I'd never really watched it until I went to boom operator school. I had cross-trained. I used to be an aircraft maintainer for the first 6 years of my Air Force career. And then I cross-trained to be an aircrew member, to be a boom operator in 2004. When I was away at boom school, the new thing in piracy and digital piracy was torrents. Torrents were just starting to become like a big, well-known thing. And a guy that I was in boom school with, like, was all about the torrents. We were living in fucking Air Force dorms, by the way. We had a pretty decent internet connection for 2003, 2004.
Right.
And he was fucking pirating the shit out of all kinds of stuff. And one day he comes up to me.
Through the government network. It's
Yeah.
fucking brilliant.
Oh, yeah. No, it was fucking great. And he hands me like this fucking stack of discs. He's like, dude, check out some of this shit. I'm like, all right, well, thanks. And one of them was the first season of Chappelle Show. So I'm like, oh, I've kind of heard of this. Let me start watching this. And I watched it and I'm like, this is the funniest fucking shit I have ever seen in my life.
Right.
So yeah, I immediately was all in on Chappelle Show. Watched, I think it was pretty much starting from season 2. I watched every episode like the week it debuted until season 2 ended. And then all of a sudden Dave walked away, and we'll get into that in another episode. But yeah, it was when I was away at boom operator school was when I was exposed to this. One other thing I wanted to mention today that I just learned this morning, all 3 of my kids are aged 18, 14, and 13. Not a one of them had ever heard of Chappelle Show before today. My oldest is like, I know who Dave Chappelle is. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Wow. So you're either failing as a parent or like doing really well as a parent because you're not exposing them to what some people would think is just horrific.
No, but this shit is brilliant. And it actually has, and we'll get into it. There's messages behind a lot of the shit that he does, like good messages. But the fact that none of my kids had ever even heard of Chappelle Show before this morning blew my fucking mind. I just kind of assumed, like going down the YouTube rabbit holes and everything else, that they'd stumble across Chappelle Show and they'd know at least a couple of the skits.
Right.
No.
Nothing.
Insane.
That's
absolutely insane.
Yeah. Wow. That is, I can't even imagine.
Right. So anyway, what about you and your brief history with Chappelle Show?
Brief?
Well,
why'd you have to make it brief?
Well, do I need to pull out the wrap it up box? Or?
Wrap it up, B. So honestly, I remember seeing it. I remember seeing season 1 because in 2003 is when I cross-trained. Also, I cross-trained into being a radio operator,
right? Out
of being a maintainer. So at the end of, I was back home by April 2003. So there were, like, Chappelle Show was out and people were talking about it, and we were already kind of talking about it. Like the one-liners were already starting to filter in to that, right? It's
so quotable.
Yeah. Because this was like early days when there's still a lot of the maintainers I worked with were still part of the unit. Like, so, and there was, I don't know, let's face it, as maintainers, like one thing that people don't appreciate that aren't necessarily in the military or in the Air Force is there's a level of depravity that we all kind of, I don't know. There's a level of depravity that you have to undergo to be a maintainer, especially like,
Mhm.
if you don't have a fucking thick skin when you're a maintainer, you're going to really have a bad day.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, you're just not gonna have a good time. It's not the yeah, it's you have to have a thick skin, and I know we have some Air Force vets that are in here that can attest to that. So I saw a show occasionally. Obviously, the ones we're talking about right now were the big ones, right? It was the stuff that even Chappelle alludes to it, and like, yeah, getting a little flack in the media, right?
Yeah,
because people were talking about it,
Mhm.
and I think it was when we started. Like, I went through the initial call and got everything else, and like, so we used to Jason and I used to fly in a fucking airplane. It was our private jet.
Pretty much.
We had our fucking private jet. It was a 757, just like fucking what Trump used to be on before he became president, and he's flying on now. Right? Yeah, we had a 757 that was configured as a commercial airliner before we got it, and was very similar to a commercial airliner when we were on it.
Fucking better than one.
Yeah,
we were on it. Honestly.
We had our own private jet, and we had our own fucking sound and audio system with equipped with, at the time, what was relatively high-speed technology was DVD players.
Yeah.
And so when Chappelle Show came out on DVD, it was a staple on trips, that especially if they didn't have passengers.
Right.
Because if you weren't worried about offending somebody, even back those days, like, some people would take exception to some of the stuff. But I mean, for the most part, back in the early 2000s, like, everyone was universally thought it was fucking funny and wasn't necessarily offended by it.
Right.
Yeah, go figure. But that was once the DVDs got into the jet. Like, I was going to bring it with me. I had, my DVD envelope, like my binder.
Oh, I remember that.
Chappelle Show was a fucking staple in that binder, and it made its rounds through fucking people with taken on trips and everything else. And those DVDs got played out a lot, because what better way to kill time than fucking laughing at a fucking video? Like, you watch all these shows without the commercials, and it's just fucking nonstop hilarity. And it was a great way to build up your fucking vernacular too, because where will we be without some of these fucking Chappelle Show quotes?
Oh yeah, and as we go through the seasons, it just builds and builds. But fuck, even this first episode. So, getting right into the first episode. So, if you and I were to rank, which I'm sure we will by the time we're done with Chappelle's Show, say the top 10 sketches from this whole series. 2 of the sketches from this first fucking episode would be in like my top 5, top 10 kind of thing. Because we open up, first we open up with the Mitsubishi commercial.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you were alive in 2003 and had regular access to TV and everything, you'd remember the fucking early Mitsubishi commercials.
Right.
Where it was this fucking stupid chick like doing the robot in a fucking Mitsubishi car. Right. To that fucking Days Go By song or whatever.
It was a hip song at the time, and it was showing like, oh, here's we're appealing to this generation of car buyers by saying, like, look how much fun you're going to have in this car.
Right.
You're going to have a disco dance party in the fucking passenger seat.
You're going to have this fucking crazy broad doing the robot in the passenger seat, which
crazy white broad.
Right. And, to some of us, we saw that as completely ridiculous, and Dave saw that as well.
Right.
So and that was the first sketch in this show was him driving with some girl that looked like the girl from that commercial.
Her
like
dancing is making my penis soft.
Great quote, by the way. But yeah, he stops like, what the fuck are you doing? And kicks her out of the car.
Yep.
And then, of course, you get the black girl in there doing the booty dancing and everything. It was fucking awesome.
Oh, girl, stop it. You're going to make me crash.
So right out the gate. But the funny thing is that's one of the sketches that kind of dates the show, because if you don't know what he's referencing, you might not really get the joke. I mean, it's still kind of funny. Some weird white girl doing a stupid dance. Right. And then, him switching to the black girl and splashing the white girl. But if you don't know the Mitsubishi commercial from fucking 2003, some of it will be lost on you.
For context, until you get to the fucking end of the show and the bloopers. The blooper reel was right after.
It was right after that, yeah.
I'm bringing it on again. If somebody's drinking every time we say something tonight that would not be allowed on TV today,
you might die.
You may in fact die.
Yeah. So,
and we're not even going to use the big words. We're not.
oh no,
we're not
no.
using the big words. Today,
No, trust
folks.
me. I like it.
We are. The filters are on.
Yeah.
For show.
Because I need to keep my job.
Yeah,
So I don't want to
same.
get fired.
Same. But yeah, you be fucking. Yeah.
But yeah, so and then every Chappelle show at this point starts with either a sketch or Dave coming out on stage, and there's a studio audience.
Dave Chappelle,
which I didn't realize that was Donnell Rollins, who always says the Dave Chappelle thing, which we see him throughout the course of the whole series.
I'm rich bitch.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I didn't realize that was him saying Dave Chappelle at the beginning until I rewatched it this time. So. And then, Dave comes out, he interacts with the audience. He does some stand-up stuff sometimes. But yeah, right after that first sketch, he does the blooper with the girl with her tit popping out.
Yeah. He's like the best. And Bronco Fett just brought up, it's like Dave
willed it to
he
happen.
felt guilty because like, I think I willed it happen. Like, oh, come on, titties.
Come on,
titties.
And then he did the freeze frame of his face, just kind of looking over.
And so I brought this up pre-show, and I'm not sure how you watched it, but for me, I watched it on Netflix today. Like I wanted to be hyped and ready for the show, right? So I watched it on Netflix. Again, I've watched every one of these episodes 100 fucking times,
yeah, same.
Easily. So watching it today, I was watching on Netflix. On Netflix, it's the titty is there, right? It is in full fucking glory.
Right.
Whereas every other time that I've seen it, on the DVDs or on TV or anything else, it's been blurred out. Like even the DVDs have it blurred out. So seeing like it was definitely because you've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
Like when something's different, you go, whoa, right? That was one of those things that was like, it's not fucking blurred out, right? Titties fucking flying out. Like it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And you can see all of this on Netflix right now.
Yeah, right now you can. Right now.
Yep. So then we move into the first longer sketch. And this, to me, is still one of my absolute favorite sketches in all of Chappelle's show.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's the pop copy.
Oh, my God. The employee video
for
the copy place.
Like the place that has the shitty customer service. Yeah. And, oh, my God, like, I still quote some of this to this day.
Oh, hell yeah.
And, I mean, I don't even know where to start. First of all, it's got Michael Rappaport and fucking Guillermo Diaz. So Michael Rappaport, pretty big actor, in movies throughout our whole generation. And also Guillermo Diaz, who was in Half Baked. He was the Hispanic guy from Half Baked,
right? Playing
that exact same character again.
Yeah, basically.
And yeah, it's that whole employee video.
Oh, it was a little more cholo for this particular episode.
Sure. My favorite part of this was the whole wrap up a story that'll make a customer feel uncomfortable, which that was my favorite part. And I still say like, I'll go to Rikers for 3 or 4 years just to prove my point. I don't play that shit. Can I help you?
Yeah.
But the other one, hell yeah, suck toes. Good.
Walk in the pop copy. Can I help you? And
or
walk away.
Yeah. Or the one that I still quote all the time. My butt is itching like crazy and I took a shower. Can I help you?
Can I help you?
I fucking love that so much.
That there's so many because it's real. It's like Chappelle runs into fucking shitty customer service. So what? I've got a show. I'll do this be a fucking great skit. And the bit that's in there that probably for me is the most quoted is why would we treat the customers this way? Because fuck them. That's why.
Yep.
Right. So kids today see that meme. I know they see that meme.
Right.
I know it's out there.
That is a meme. Because
fuck them.
That's why. Yeah.
And so they know that. I don't think they associate that necessarily with Chappelle's show, but that's where that shit came from. And that to me that fucking fits every fucking scenario ever.
Yeah.
Right. That and the at the end when he's doing like the finishing stuff and you see Michael Rappaport fucking push the
whoop his ass
fucking jumping across. Like dude, it's fucking
I actually noticed something in this recent rewatch that I never noticed before that was fucking hilarious. So there's the one scene where I think Dave is talking to the camera, right? And he's giving some of his instructions. In the background, there's a woman trying to use a copy machine in the building,
Uh-huh.
and there's 2 employees behind the desk fucking pointing at her and laughing because she can't figure it out, and they're making fun of her. It flips to another scene. It flips back. Dave's still talking to the camera, and now this woman's got another friend there, and they're trying to board the copy machine, and the 2 guys are fucking still laughing and making fun of her. I never noticed that before.
I didn't either. I'm gonna have to watch it again.
So go back and rewatch it. Watch when you see Dave talking to the camera, but in the background, there's all kinds of other fucking wacky shit going on. It's fucking hilarious.
It is. It's such a great way to kick off a fucking skit comedy show.
Oh,
right? was one of the best fucking skits ever.
The fucking when he's like, if they have Apple, tell them we're PC. If they have PC,
oh yes, yes. If they have all that, tell them the system's down. Yeah, the whole system's down.
Yeah,
like the whole system is a big company.
Yeah, listen, sister, I gotta go take a shit.
Could you believe he said that? Okay.
Oh my god, I fucking love that.
I think in 2003 though, floppy disks and fucking
they had the 3.5-inch discs.
Yeah, different drive types. That was 100% a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go into a place, like you had to make decisions about where you were going to go based on the fucking technology that they supported.
Yeah.
So you could go like, oh yeah, the whole system is down. The whole system.
They should be anyhow.
Yeah.
But that pop copy sketch, I still fucking love that to this day. It's one of the best in the entire series, in my opinion.
For sure.
So
for sure. That yeah.
Yeah. And then we get into the whole we go back to Dave on stage, and he's talking about how hip hop has taken the blame for objectifying women because this was a big narrative back in the day.
Yep.
And Dave's like, I'll prove that we've been objectifying women for centuries. And he goes back into the vault, and we see Nat King Cole and his
1956.
Yes, 1956 episode.
And it's the what 50s television looked like, with the black and white, and it's Dave singing like Nat King Cole, like all fucking suave and shit.
Mm-hmm.
all the way up until the point it's like, trifling bitch.
Have a happy holiday, you trifling bitch. And he's pouring the champagne all over. Yeah, take that, girl, rub it in your breasts and on your vagina. Oh my god. And it's so good, so good, because you never expect that.
Yeah, it's like you picture Nat King Cole in like Christmas time, and it's like, oh, it's just like wholesome image, and then all of a sudden, trifling bitch.
Yep.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, good shit. Then they go to the home stenographer, which it wasn't as funny, I think, as the rest. There were a couple of good moments in there, but of the whole episode, this was definitely the weakest point for me.
Sure.
And I don't think there's anything really else to say about that, because the next,
except for the dwarf from who I recognize from Me, Myself, and Irene.
Oh, well, he was also in Bad Santa, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the backpack version.
Yeah, the travel version.
The travel version. And it won 2003. What did cell phones look like in 2003? We were still like sporting our Nokias and our fucking Razor phones, right?
Well, yeah, and the fucking, the flip phones. And actually, I don't think I had a cell phone until 05, 06 was my first cell phone, but I digress. So the next sketch was the big one. Probably the most well-known in all of Chappelle's Show. I mean, yes, there's the Rick James one that we'll talk about in a future episode, but I mean, this is the one. And the fact that they put it in this first episode, I think, was part of the reason why Chappelle's Show was as successful as it was.
I don't think that this show has a modicum of success that it does without this, because this established straight away. They're like, first of all, I don't give a fuck what you think, right, about situations about race or anything else,
right?
Like whatever your preconceived notions are, like I'm Dave Chappelle, this is what I think of this fucking situation, and I'm going to tell a joke that's funny despite the fact that you might be offended,
right? But and at the end of the day, I think what people don't realize is there was a really big message behind this. He didn't come out and say what the message was, but if you watch it and you pay attention, it's pretty fucking obvious,
right?
And it's the whole black white supremacist, right? The guy, the blind black man who was told his whole life he was white,
right?
and somehow ended up in a circle of people that got him into the whole white power thing, right?
Yep.
So he became a prominent member of the white supremacist movement. And that's the whole story behind it. And it starts off obviously with the warning. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
So the warning up pops up as a warning for viewers sensitive to issues of race. Be advised that the following piece contains gratuitous use of the N-word.
Yeah.
And we're not going to finish that.
No, we're not going to actually say it.
We're going to avoid all that shit because it's not appropriate for us to
we
say.
need future employment.
Yes,
so
and we know that it's funny and we don't need to say it to make
Right.
it so. But right straight from the beginning with this frontline thing, it's like, okay, here's your 60 minutes, your fucking Dateline, which is what it's directly derived from, right?
Right.
Let's take this old white guy.
Which do you know who he is?
No. I only know him from fucking Chappelle Show.
Well, he was the neighbor from Small Wonder. Do you remember Small Wonder? The TV show about the fucking robot girl? He was the dad of the annoying neighbor girl.
Okay.
That's where I remember him from. And then he eventually made his way onto Chappelle Show.
Deep callback.
Hell yeah.
I would probably have to be on some sort of acid dream to fucking remember.
Well, I have those weird moments. So
yes, as you demonstrated earlier today. Anyway,
okay,
with your fucking dreaming,
right?
Yeah, but you'd have to set the stage with this swarmy old white dude reporting. He's the lead anchor for fucking Frontline.
Yeah,
right. And here we are. You have this white supremacist who is a black man.
Yeah, and
now you're going to have this guy go and interview him. Like this is. Like the only thing would have made it better is like this is Barbara Walters,
right? Yeah. And he was acting like that too. Like he was like so like high
and watching it today, like this setup was probably like. I think if they did it today, like they could make it almost exactly like a news feature.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Like just technology wise, they could like have the overlays and the fucking crawl down the. Oh
yeah, the production quality and all that.
But so it was 2003-esque. But at the time, you're looking at it going like, oh my God, this. You could look at this and be fucking fooled.
Yeah.
That this is like a legit article.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the way up until the point
where, he approaches Clayton Bigsby, the author.
Right.
Just because I'm blind don't mean I'm dumb.
Yeah.
And and then we're exposed to the whole fact that he was a blind black man who was told his whole life he was white.
Right. He's married to a white woman. Like when he walks up to the fucking stairs and he's sitting there in a rocking chair with the white woman, and you're just like, oh man. Like first time seeing this, like the first time you see it, you just go like, wow. Like, and honestly, even back then, like today, your butthole tightens a little bit. Just like, oh my God, should I be watching this?
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Even back then, it was just like, whoa, this is like, am I allowed to laugh at this?
Yeah,
because it's fucking funny. Like
it really is. It really is. But and that goes to the message behind it all that I kind of alluded to earlier, and that's the fact that at the end of the day, racism is taught. Right? It's not something that you're just born with. It's something that's taught and passed down.
Yeah, it's an environmental thing. It's through your social structure.
Right.
Right. So it doesn't matter if you're all blind and you can't see each other, but somebody says that this other person is bad, then you're just going to fucking roll with it.
Right.
Because that's what you're brought up into.
Yeah. And, he asks him, he's like, well, what's your problem with African Americans? And he starts going off like what you would think a traditional white racist would say, big butt having, wide nose, breathing all the white man's air,
And which seems so outlandish, right? You think about it like, this is so ridiculous. But that's how they are.
And I can 100% confirm that because I grew up in I'll just say small white town with a lot of, fucking racist people. Like, honestly,
right.
Like I grew up in a town that was 99% white.
Right.
And like literally me and my friends were approached by fucking Klan members and given brochures from fucking Klan members when I was a teenager.
Holy shit.
That's how fucking crazy racist my hometown was. Wow. Now, not to say everybody from my hometown was racist because they're not, but it was pretty fucking prevalent there. So like when as he's going off and he's saying these things as Clayton Bigsby, I'm like,
Right.
yeah, no, that's how a lot lot of them fucking talk.
My exposure to that, because like growing up around this area, like, you know, that's like traditional to me. That's like traditional Southern, like Mississippi racism, right? Which is what I saw when I was in Biloxi.
Right.
You know, you saw a lot of that where there was like just really overt, especially like for airmen. Like if you're picked out in a situation, there'd be a group of locals out there. Like it was that type of just what we think is over the top stereotypical fucking bullshit. Like that's they fucking really believe that shit.
Yeah.
They really they believe that rallying around the fucking Confederate flag means something, right? And it's just, but it is. They've been indoctrinated into this fucking thing through their fucking parents or their fucking support system or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's fucking crazy. It's crazy to think about. But Chappelle fucking knew this.
Yeah.
Chappelle knew this. Like this is, I know it's going to sound crazy. Like it's so fucking out there that like it's funny, but people like the underlying thing, like somebody like you who's actually dealt with it directly, you're like, wow, yeah, that's fucking dead on.
Yeah.
And he knew what he was fucking doing with that.
Yeah. No. And again, like I've heard people talking exactly like that throughout my life. And I'm like, he fucking nailed it. He really nailed it. And again, it drives home that underlying message. And it's not like fucking today, where today in entertainment and fucking Hollywood, their politics are very overt. It's not, there's no subtlety about anything they do. Whereas compared to this, back in the day, it was, you kind of had to read between the lines and make those connections yourself.
Yeah. And we were starting to get into that culture, I think, with the internet being more prolific, like, because even he alludes to it, like when they say that even the entertainment industry wasn't.
Well,
scared,
I had that
right?
in my notes too, because he goes, don't let the liberal media tell you how to think.
Right.
When he was going off about like Will and Grace. Maybe there's not something wrong with Will, or maybe there's something not wrong with you. There's something wrong with Will. He's a homosexual.
Yeah, he's a homosexual. Right. It's spot on for the fucking time. And think about it, 18 years later, those conversations, you could still have those conversations.
Oh, of course.
And even in today's environment where like with BLM and everything else, like where you would hope that people would have more empathy and they like appreciate everything that's going on. But I think that Chappelle could make these same statements, if not more so, because there's more exposure to it now with everything that's happening in the world and what the media is covering. Like, if anything, the point would be made even stronger.
Yeah.
In today's market, if they even let this fucking thing hit the air.
And I don't know if they would.
There's no fucking way they would.
Yeah.
There's no way that the Clayton Bigsby fucking skit makes it to fucking
like
television.
That whole last scene where he's in the fucking Klan garb,
right?
And he goes out, white power.
Yeah, and he fucking takes off. You want to see my face? Pulls off the fucking thing, and the fucking homeboy's head explodes. And then he's like, "There's coffee and cake on the back, so we can talk." Like,
it's just very nonchalant about the whole thing.
Completely fucking oblivious to it, and there's so much that you can break down in that, right? The ignorance of an individual, regardless of them being blind or anything else, the ignorance of that particular individual to even believe in that fucking bullshit.
Sure.
Right. And to be able to get incited into these riots, like, think of those actors that were portraying those roles. Watching it this time, I thought about those actors going like, I wonder if their portrayal of this particular thing, even though it's fucking satire, if that would affect them today. Right. Oh,
possibly.
You were playing a fucking Klansman on this fucking show with Chappelle, and you were talking about white supremacy and everything else. So you're now branded as a fucking racist.
Well, I mean, the guy that was at the podium, like introducing Clayton, he made an appearance at least twice more throughout the course of Chappelle's show. Once in one of these episodes during the Roots bloopers, he was the guy. Your name is Toby.
Oh, he was that guy.
That was that same guy.
Oh my god!
And he was the guy. If you remember, when the player haters do the time travel and they go back in time to fucking slave days, and it's like, what the hell are you N-words doing here? and it's like, I can't, be in slave days, and then they take out the gun and fucking shoot him.
That's
That same guy.
I can't wait to get to that fucking episode. Holy shit!
Yeah.
But yeah, can you imagine today, like even just like, yeah, it's satire and like it has this whole bigger message and everything else. But if you just like, if you can isolate that particular moment, right, that he's in and say, okay, this is what this person is. Now, for me, like that's inaccurate to what that person was, right?
Sure.
Now let's rewind it to fucking Kate Smith in fucking 1910. Right.
Right.
Where she does something like that's part of a fucking show that in today's, like, fast forward to today, and she has a statue that gets removed. And
oh yeah, she's canceled. 100% canceled.
She's canceled. I would think the same thing happens with this. The fucking same thing, because that's how we are. That's why I don't think this could be on TV.
Oh hell no.
Chappelle could pull it off. Like him individually could pull it off, but all the people around him that would participate in it, how could they survive it? Because of this portrayal.
Tough. Yeah, and he's got so much power right now that he could survive, and you see it with like his current Netflix specials.
Yeah, he does survive.
He gets a lot of shit from some of the things that he says during his current Netflix stand-up routines, but he perseveres.
Supergirl's calling it.
What is she calling?
Well, you're looking for the sign.
Did she fucking steal them?
No, she says, wow, so soon. Maybe she did steal them.
Whatever. I think we need to take a break before we get into the next episode.
Oh, there is.
Honestly. So
right.
Can we take a quick break?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a very quick break before we get into episodes 2 and 3 and be right back after this second word from our sponsors. Oh, fuck. Yeah, where the fuck did our signs go?
They're probably attached to babies or something. I love the fact that she called it. Because everyone watching knows what was happening. News. See, the problem is Jason will like clean up and then not know where he put shit. It's probably back there. If it's anywhere. Or Kristen has them. One or the other. Better not bring your kids. What's that folder? Nice. Our folder that contains the original art for our fucking... How you doing? Woohoo!
All right, now I'm getting pissed off. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, they never fucking leave this one spot, and now all of a sudden they're fucking gone.
Are they down there with that pile of shit? Like in the corner?
No.
Up against that?
Over here?
Yeah.
No. Like, seriously, what the fuck, man? I think she fucking took them.
She either took them or she hid them. Ugh. Are they behind Tom Brady?
Maybe.
Fuck that guy. She resents the accusation. Oh, okay.
So she did. That's basically what it is. She fucking hit our signs. The fucking I have to pee signs that have been with us from the very beginning of the goddamn podcast. Serenity now. Do you need to do anything before we restart? All right.
I've been nursing this little bit of alcohol, and
I have not been nursing anything. I'm just fucking. You know what? Fucking. She needs to bring us more ice. Need more ice.
Do you really have to send a text when you know she's watching right now?
Bitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna go well.
Yeah. Need more ice. Anyway.
I'm good.
Give me a countdown.
And right about The door's opening. Should we wait?
Sure.
I heard it open.
I'm gonna be so mad if she hit our fucking signs. You're messing with the flow of the show.
Is it in that drawer? I feel like you move stuff to set up for the other stream.
Why would I move the signs? They're always right there.
I don't know.
God,
Why do you
I'm
do half the shit that you do?
I don't know. I don't know why I am the way that I am, but it's just a thing.
Trust me, I'm just as bad, if not worse. Yeah, I don't know, dude. All right, let's just do the countdown.
Whatever.
She's probably waiting.
Oh, hold on. Did you do something with our signs?
I did not.
What the? Hey!
Thank you.
You didn't hide the
I
signs.
did not hide the sign.
All right. Well, thank
I'm
you.
better than that.
Well, thank you for the
That
ice.
would've been too easy.
Where the fuck did they
You
go?
put them wherever they are is where you put them.
Check under my laptop just to make sure I don't.
Yeah, if they're into your laptop.
That'll wait. I don't know, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, thanks for the ice.
You moved a bunch of shit, bitch. You can say it out loud. It's all right.
No, I did.
All right. Well, I don't know then. I don't know where the fuck the signs are.
Now we have ice throwing to add to the menagerie of
Right.
things.
See if I can find these.
You remember make sure she doesn't sew your underwear legs together.
Swear to God, she hid them, but whatever. Let's go.
Ready, set, trifling, bitch.
And we're back again. So, episode 2. So, we talked a lot about episode 1. Starts off with the pretty white girl singing, which the biggest part about this sketch that I remember from back in the day was the first, the OJ didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
On second thought, yes, he did. And then the I want to stick my thumb in this white girl's ass,
Right.
the singing white girl's ass,
Yep.
or whatever. So,
And then him writing his phone number down, and her starting to sing it out
and it's
loud.
just, mm,
Yep, and just like sticks it down her fucking down her bosom,
mm,
all over your breasts.
and your vagina. But no, very, very entertaining sketch was the white girl sings. The part that I really loved was the next sketch was the sex on the street quiz.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like,
I didn't add that to the notes, but that was actually a fucking good one.
oh god, yeah, where he's like, what's your craziest sexual experience? Like they pull a couple aside. It's Dave Chappelle and some girl, and she's like, oh yeah, I had a threesome with 2 guys while my sorority girls were cheering me on. And you see Dave just kind of like looking at her the whole time, like, what the fuck?
What's the strangest thing I ever did? Have sex with gangbanger over here without a rubber.
Yeah.
We're done. This date's over.
Yeah, and for like literally 2-minute sketch, it was pretty fun.
It was
It had a pretty good punchline.
and probably it might be a little bit dated just because like we understand like it had that like when Real Sex was out, wasn't it Real Sex that was based off of it? It was like an HBO thing.
Yeah,
Where they were like interviewing random people in between you know, stupid things.
yeah, like on the streets of New York. And
Yeah,
everything.
so I think that probably hits a little bit closer because we have that in context, whereas maybe later audiences don't.
Right, and
Although,
well, the same thing happens with the next sketch, the Miss Cleo.
oh yeah,
Right, the Dave giving the psychic readings based
Right.
on racial stereotypes, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
By the way, you go back and you listen to him basically using these racial stereotypes to fucking predict these people's future, and it was like spot on. But the fact that it was the whole parody of Miss Cleo, come get your free reading.
Rastafari. I don't think she was really Jamaican.
Yeah.
So the one I remember of that, and unrightfully so, is the one where it's like, oh wait, you're in prison. Like, or accepts a collect call from fucking prison.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, all right, I see your future. Oh, you're right back in prison.
Yeah.
Just
you made parole. He's like, oh, say word, son.
Say word,
you can
son.
tell it was Donnell Rawlings on the other line, and he's like, oh wait, it's 6 weeks later. You're right back in for the same shit,
motherfucker. It again, for a short bit, it was funny.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got, as we've already referred to a couple of times, the Wrap It Up box, another fucking classic,
dude.
From fucking Chappelle Show.
I would venture to guess that I've probably used the Wrap It Up box monthly.
Dude, no, like I'll legitimately, if I had one of these things, I'd be using it almost every fucking day.
Yep.
Legitimately.
Yeah. Like, put it on the box, like, see what the sign says. Wrap it up, B.
Yeah.
Wrap that shit up. It's like it. And honestly, the sex bit, whatever, that's fucking funny. And her, like,
oh yeah, girl I'm gonna rock it tonight. Have you ever felt this in your life? Like, taking you on a journey, girl. And then he's like, psych. Oh yeah, I'm not done.
Like, no, not even close.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, B.
Oh, so fucking funny. Yeah, fucking
wrap that gavel up.
That was Guillermo Diaz from fucking Half Baked, making another appearance on Chappelle's Show.
It's the Wrap It Up box is it's one of the things that you want. You 100% want. I want this thing.
I would use this.
People using this shit out on me, I'm sure. Like, because I can tend to fucking drag on.
Yeah, no. As I said earlier in this podcast.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, the classic fucking sketch. And then, of course,
got it. We
get one of the most popular characters that we see over and over again throughout the course of Chappelle's Show, the Tyrone Biggums, and his speech to kids. Now, the funny thing about this is, if you watch Dave introduce this sketch, he talks about Generation X. He specifically references Generation X, or as he calls them, the Reagan kids.
Right.
Who had to sit through these fucking drug awareness programs.
Yeah.
I remember it, man. I remember fucking 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade having to do these fucking like sketches. I can specifically remember being called up to the front of the class, and they're like, all right, you're the druggy kid, and you have to try to convince this other kid that he needs to do drugs with you,
right.
And doing all of this fucking bullshit during the whole Reagan Dare, say no to drugs, all that shit.
And the Dare program, I think the Dare program actually still has they're still around, the Dare programs.
Sure. And I'm not like
drug centric as, I mean, I don't know. The kids went through it. I think honestly, my kids going through it, it was more like, hey, police officers are here like as somebody who's approachable, as opposed to fucking just being like this hard over person. You talk about those fucking skits, right? Sitting in the auditorium for fucking some song and dance routine about drugs or whatever. I grew up the son of a fucking cop that all he did, like he was on the fucking enforcement team, and that's all they did was go fucking kick in doors of drug dealers. So, and he had these like demonstration bits, like if we went and go and do a presentation, it was stuff that they found drugs in, like wooden statues that people try and smuggle shit in and all other stuff. I was constantly exposed to this, like the drugs are bad, but it was never like looking at me going drugs are bad. It's like, I know that he spends most of his time fucking arresting people for that shit, right? And almost everybody I knew what my dad did. So they there's no way that they're like, oh, the kid, Dave's a narc. No, there's no way. They never involved me into that shit. Like, and to this day, whether it's all the fucking skits or being a cop's kid or whatever, like I still have this very anti-drug sentiment, right? Illegal, like just illicit substances and shit like that.
Well, and yeah, we're military too.
No, no. I'm talking about the way I had it before, I still have today.
Okay.
Right. I have that same feeling against illicit drug use that I do with like smoking.
Okay.
It is a fucking deal breaker.
Sure.
Right. And that, like, while it's becoming more commonplace, like especially with the marijuana stuff, I think there's an argument to be had there, not for this show, but
Yeah.
if we do half baked, maybe. But
right.
Yeah, I'm just one of those people where like it's been so ingrained in me that drugs are bad. Drugs are bad. Shouldn't do drugs. That Tyrone Biggins standing in front of me, like it had zero effect.
Right.
Same thing with Scared Straight. Remember Scared Straight?
Oh yeah.
Right? Going into a fucking prison. Like I've been in handcuffs before. Right? My dad used to fucking break in new handcuffs on me. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like this introduction to Tyrone, my favorite part of this whole thing was when there's the kid fucking sprawled out on the ground and he's like hovering over him, taking shit out of his pockets. You tell anybody, I'll kill you.
He's Tyrone.
Oh, so fucking funny.
That the 90s sitcom fucking overlay to it, like the introduction.
Yeah. And the crack sandwich, which, by the way, longtime listener, Bronco Fett, who has been following us from damn near day one of the podcast. He constantly does the whole Tyrone Biggins memes. Y'all got any more of them podcasts?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and he'll sometimes do the crack sandwich thing where it's just him just.
So we get introduced to this character for this episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't his best work.
No.
But it's an introduction. I think the big thing for me with this one is the outtake, where he's talking about like the dude setting up the fucking like the Snickers,
the dookie, like the piece of shit basically on the ground,
setting up the fucking Snickers bar, and he's melting it and then licking his fingers and shit. Like, excuse me, that and the idea that these kids are sitting in front of this, right? I think they do some fucking some parts of it where he's actually in front of them, but he's not necessarily saying all of those things,
right?
Because think of it like today. If he went and gotten like a fifth into that fucking conversation, like that thing before he gets fucking rolled out of there,
right? Well, the
teacher doesn't want to sit by and go like, "Oh my god, what he's saying."
Well, the thing that really sticks out for me is that was the first time I sucked dick for crack. You know,
like you see the kids like, oh.
Well, and then he was giving them like pointers, like you get on the 512 bus into Midtown, and they're like taking fucking notes down, and then you go see Gutierrez. He's the one that's got the good shit.
Yeah, that's right. And the teacher's like, oh, and then he was pretty much telling them where to get it. Like, though there's no fucking way that it would get that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Bring an actual crackhead into the fucking school.
No.
Although that maybe not in my school, but maybe in somebody's school.
I don't know. But yeah, that was our first introduction to Tyrone Biggins, and we'll see him again multiple times throughout the course of Chappelle's show.
His the fucking one where he's on Fear Factor is my favorite. It's an absolute favorite.
Yeah, that was good shit. Moving into the third and final episode that we're going to talk about. He started off with this weird QVC segment.
Yeah.
A lot of gross shit. Like, I didn't like this sketch so much.
The booger on the fucking
hand. The booger on the hand, the fucking chick with the herpes sore, the fucking hairy chick. I'm like, ugh. I mean,
and I think that was the point, right? I think Chappelle started that whole bit by saying, like, he watches them do this thing and he feels gross, like, because of the way they're selling this stuff.
Right.
So he just, like, amplified that. Like, this is how these people are acting. This is how gross it is. But here it is, gross with like shit that like really is going to skeeve you out.
Mm-hmm.
So really effective skit, not the best one, but like super effective because he leads into it with exactly what it is. It's like the way QVC sells their shit grosses me out.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Right.
And then he fucking, shows this fucking nonsense.
And I was grossed out watching it the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, I hit the fucking 10-second ahead thing. Like, doop, 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 doop.
Yep. And then, of course, we get into another classic fucking sketch, The Roots DVD. Because, so you got to take a step back. The early days of DVDs, right? It was it was all about what can we sell as far as extras, right? All this behind the scenes footage, audio commentaries, all this other shit that was going on as studios were trying to sell these DVDs and box sets and everything. So he decided, all right, well, let's jump on this bandwagon with something serious like Roots, right? So, I mean, obviously Roots goes back to slavery, and it's some brutal shit.
Right.
And then you add this layer on top of it with like fucking outtakes.
The Benny Hill music overlay.
Right.
Like, oh my God.
And it's so ridiculous, but it's like, it really kind of drives home the point where it's like a topic this serious. You probably shouldn't be doing,
right?
You know, things like fucking outtakes and bloopers and all that other stuff.
But again, I think it's something that because he's an African American, that he can, even today, he could get away with it.
Oh yeah,
like with that portrayal. Sidebar, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I said Benny Hill. How many fucking millennials have any idea who Benny Hill is?
They wouldn't know who it is, but I mean, they've all got to know the music. They
don't know why they know it, though.
Right.
Like Benny Hill, talking about things that wouldn't be accepted on TV today. Benny Hill is one of them. For sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
100%.
He would not make it on, like, especially not on, like, fucking PBS. Right. Whatever the fucking channel it was. It was like, no, definitely not. Not today.
But, I mean, it just goes to show, like, you know, he kind of merged that Hollywood really trying to like add this extra shit to sell DVDs and everything to something as serious as Roots, and just how it would never like really make sense to put the two together with the guy holding the baby up and it pisses everywhere and he fucking throws the baby.
Like, I told you not to give me a real baby.
Yeah.
Pissing on me and shit.
Or the fucking scene where the dude's like whipping fucking Kunta Kinte and your name is Tomei.
Dude, so was that your first exposure to the idea that that's how they make that fucking, like, how they do that and make it look real?
With the thing on his back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I never, like, because I saw it, this is Dave time traveling, right? Because I've seen this a fucking million times and I never really thought about it this way. But I'm watching the dude whip him. And I'm like, dude, that looks really real. Like he's trained how to fucking do that for real.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that shit, you could really, really hurt somebody.
Right.
With some of that shit.
Oh, well, fuck. You go back and watch fucking, oh God, it's so brutal. 12 Years a Slave. Fuck.
Yeah, no.
Dude, that's rough to watch. Nope. But I mean, that gives you a feel of what you can really fucking do with that shit.
And fucking the Passion of the Christ.
Oh, well, yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm like watching, like, man, it looks like he's really doing that shit for this fucking bit, right? He looks like he's really doing this shit. And then fucking goes like, hey, I told you not to do it so hard.
Yeah, Steve, right? Come on, man.
And then he gets all in his face and shit. Like,
well, and the best part about it, and I say best because it's so like inappropriately funny, where he's like, all right, come on, let's do it again. And he puts himself up and he's like, and I'm like, God damn, that's fucking wrong on so many levels.
But I would imagine that that probably exists, right? There's probably
those
bloopers.
Outtakes.
Yeah, there's probably bloopers that are just like that.
Probably, but that's like the thing. That's the point that they're driving home. That's the kind of shit that you don't want to include on like a Roots box set, right? It's like
I think that would take away from the message.
Exactly.
And that's the point.
Right. So again, it's so subtle where you have to pay attention. You have to really think about it. Not like, again, today's fucking Hollywood where it's just like all right in your fucking face. You know, Chappelle show made you fucking think. So again, good stuff. So the next sketch was the Zapped, his WB show,
right?
Which every time you saw those like WB vignettes in between, it was like him kind of dancing in front of the side,
because that was a thing at the time. It really was. Something that would be lost probably on today's audience.
Yep,
like the stuff with the WB.
Yeah,
especially the fucking the frog bit.
Yo, man, like watching it this time around today, like I didn't realize how fucking kind of deep and potentially racist that fucking frog really was.
Right.
Because as a kid, I remember that old fucking WB sketch with the frog. Hello, my baby. Hello, my
Right.
honey.
Well, yeah, because then they fucking turn it into the Spaceballs skit where the fucking
Yeah, with the alien and
comes
everything
out.
else. And I didn't realize there was a lot of like racist connotations associated with that.
Racist ass frog. That was my note in here for the Zapped. We're WB's racist frog, right? And this is where I think for the first, maybe for me, is kind of the first inclination that like this is Dave Chappelle's fucking his essay on racism.
Yeah.
You know, the what he's doing with this show. This is like his essay on racism. Like, why bring this up? Why bring the fucking racist ass frog into it, right? So that he can talk about it. Like,
Sure.
yeah, this is like you heard that just now, right? Like we all sat there and we listen to it today, and we hear that WB, hey, mammy, or whatever it says, right? And then you go like, oh, because now Dave put it into context. Like, talk about some stereotypical racism, with this fucking frog on a network that it's just this is him telling it, and he said it. You heard him say it in a way that's like, hey, I'm saying this for real right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, broke into something else. You know what I forgot to talk about, which is my favorite fucking line in the Tyrone Biggins.
Go ahead.
Like when he talks about eating dog food.
Oh. It tastes exactly like it smells.
Delicious. I fucking when I smell dog food, I think of this fucking line. Like there isn't a time if I could say it in my house and have everybody get it, I'd fucking be saying it all the time. But instead, it's just in my head.
Right. No, that line was
tastes just like it
fucking
smells.
Hilarious.
Delicious.
Because you expect him to say,
right,
something bad,
shit,
but
delicious.
No.
Like,
you ever eaten dog food?
It tastes just like it smells. Delicious. I love that line.
Yeah,
great fucking line.
Great line. And I made a note of that too, but we kind of blew past it.
Anyway, racist frog.
Yeah. Last sketch was the "It's a Wonderful Chest" sketch, where it's the woman complaining about her fucking big tits.
It's a Wonderful Life, like kind of spinoff.
Yeah.
Right. So again, this is kind of a throwaway sketch for me, honestly, but some fucking great one-liners in here, and that pop into my head all the time, like the wedding bit with the like, am I, I was gonna make her bridesmaid, but I'm not having an itty bitty titty committee, right?
Yeah,
right. Saying that, and when he calls them fucking chesticles, like that's like that became part of my fucking vernacular almost immediately.
Yep.
Like with fucking chesticles. That and at the end where he's talking about, girl, I'm on PCP. Like, I don't know how you came with me.
Right.
Taking the money out of the fucking cash register and shit. It's just it was a well put together skit. It wasn't funny. Like I get it.
And the problem with it, I think, too, in the context of this whole episode was it took a lot of the episode. It was at least
there was a lot of build
a
up.
Third of the episode.
There was a lot of build up to it.
Yeah. And I mean it was okay.
But he had the itty bitty titty committee.
Yeah.
Fucking that's it was good.
Right. Oh, and I think we really quickly kind of actually I don't think we touched on it at all. In episode 2 at the end, he had Mos Def on there, and he did he did a little rap.
Yeah, he was freestyling in the car with Dave.
Right. And this becomes a thing as we go through Chappelle Show. He has a lot of hip hop artists come on and do songs and everything else. The thing about Mos Def that I made the note about is he comes on later in Chappelle Show as a character in one of his sketches. Do you remember what that is?
Yeah, it's the race draft.
Oh fuck! I didn't even think about that one. I was thinking about a different sketch. Yeah, he was the black representative in the racial draft, but he was also the black head of the CIA during the Black Bush sketch.
Yeah, yellow cake. Yep.
Don't drop that shit.
I can't wait to get to those.
Oh god, those are fucking good stuff. But I mean, honestly, these first 3 episodes, so much good content in here.
If you're gonna tee up a sketch comedy show, right? You're you're starting the regular season batting good 650.
Oh, at least.
Yeah. Because there are there's a couple that are like a little bit slow in development. And I think he's still, when you're watching it, he's still kind of getting his rhythm with the audience too. Like
what's resonating, what's not.
Yeah. And honestly, I think early in these episodes where he's really talking about the skit more than in later episodes where he's just kind of doing a thing in between the skits.
Yeah.
Like, because even later, like, he's going like, skits, bitch. Right. He's starts kind of pushing through it to get to the sketch. Whereas early, he's like talking about it. Here's a blooper about this fucking sketch. Like the Tyrone Biggins thing where he had all the stuff at the end where he's on the fucking skateboard.
Right.
And he starts kind of getting away from that in later episodes. But yeah, I think there was, for especially the first episode, man, like when you're coming out the gate fucking sprinting.
Yes.
And
it's like I said, if we made even a top 5 list of our top 5 Chappelle Show sketches, 2 of them for my list are going to come from this first episode.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a tough list to make because probably if there's these 2 and then there's fucking both Charlie Murphy.
Right. And those were both fucking classics in and of themselves. Those, like the Rick James, especially, that's going to take a whole episode of this show. Like just the Rick James sketch. Yes. So
Rick James, bitch.
But I mean, and this is the brilliance of Dave Chappelle in this show. For the 2 seasons that he was on, or 2.5, if you take into account the lost episodes.
Right.
Such a huge impact. So many quotable lines. Stuff that still resonates with people today. Like most people our age still remember Chappelle Show very fondly.
Yeah.
That can still probably quote most of the fucking sketches from this fucking show.
Yeah. Fact is, I was probably a couple months ago, I was reconnecting with Chris Miller, a guy we used to fly with. And he was talking about how we fucking got into the Chappelle Show. And and full disclosure, he's an African American, but like he loved the fact that we were into this fucking show.
Yeah,
like that we appreciated this comedy for what it was, and it's just
absolutely groundbreaking. I mean, to the point where it's like I said, it still gets talked about today. Joe Rogan still talks about Chappelle Show. He still talks about the Clayton Bigsby sketch as like one of the greatest segments in all of television history, you know? So it's,
Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to do a Joe Rogan episode.
Yeah.
We need to put that on the list.
Well, and the fact that things are changing with Rogan and his format and his new hosts, and the episodes they're deleting. And
I haven't even, like, honestly, I don't. Yeah. So here's the thing. And I think this ties into like what we're talking about with Chappelle, because we could sit here and we can appreciate what the Chappelle Show was. And yeah, there was blowback because it's pretty extreme in its representation, but this is Dave Chappelle's essay on racism and how racism has affected him throughout his life, right? Today, like I can't sit and watch. Like it's not the same. Like media, like any media right now. Like I can't sit there and like kind of intake it because I feel like I'm constantly looking for the fucking propaganda. Yeah. I'm constantly waiting for the fucking ulterior motives and everything else. Like I'm so suspicious of what's out there that, you know what Kathy and I watch together? We watch comedians, because comedians will get up there and they'll fucking tell it like it is for the most part. The ones that I want to watch anyway.
Sure.
And the ones I don't want to watch, beep. Like, remember at the end of the white power episode where Chappelle's like, yeah, here, I got your white power right here, mister. I had the power to change the station.
Right.
And doing his best to, white person impression.
Which he does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And he continues to do that throughout the course of the series.
Yeah. He does it in his fucking stand-up now.
Yeah.
But, I don't. I can't enjoy the media right now, so I avoid it. Like my avoidance of social media and everything else right now is
Dude,
because
I'm the same way.
I don't need this. I don't need that level of drama in my life to where I'm constantly being inundated with the propaganda.
Well,
Like,
in fact,
from either way, either side.
And I agree. And I was considering saying this on the show as part of my week, but something I've done lately is on Facebook, I've unfollowed anything and everything that has any kind of political commentary to it,
Right.
be it people, groups, whatever. You have the ability to silence them or block them or whatever on Facebook. And all I do is follow like retro gaming right now. And my experience with Facebook has been fucking great for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Because I've silenced all the political shit and all I've done is like read the shit that I'm actually interested in.
Yeah. And honestly,
and it's good.
I kind of use Reddit for that. If I really like kind of want to lean into something, I'll go into a subreddit where it's talking about zombies. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about fucking zombies. What's the new zombie map? What's season 3 of fucking Call of Duty going to look like?
Sure.
Know? That's because, okay, I'm interested in talking about that. But otherwise, I get my current events through the fucking early bird. You know what the early bird is?
Does it get the worm?
No, it's a military publication. What early bird used to be, it used to be like almost an FOUO document that came out every day that was like, hey, here's what's kind of going on in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you used to be able to get it over the Nippernet. Well, they don't do that anymore because of aggregation of material. So you can go to like defense.mil, like the people that make the Defense Time, Air Force Times, all that bullshit, which are fucking propaganda rags in and of themselves.
Of course.
But they actually produce a decent early bird where it has a lot of different articles in it. So that's why I'll like look at stuff, and it obviously it's based in military stuff, but that's where I live right now. I'm still part of the military industrial complex. So I kind of want to have an idea of what's going on.
Mm.
But yeah, other than that, dude, fuck, nope. I'm unbelievably contented to unplug from the noise.
No, I'm right there with you, man.
And it's a shame because like here we're like podcasts and I'm listening to audiobooks and stuff like that, but I'm selecting what I want to listen to. I'm not being inundated with something I don't want to hear.
It's become so polarized, man.
Yeah.
It's like they're literally forcing you to pick a side one way or the other. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I mean, is there some in between? No. There's no in between anymore.
Yeah, there is.
Those days are over.
I have the power. Click.
Right, exactly.
I have that fucking power. And so do you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm.
But that's, and I will give the Chappelle show a lot of credit for me. I don't know. I feel like it helped me. It really helped me kind of understand some underlying issues because it was told to me in a way that I didn't feel like I was being lectured to. It made me be empathetic to what the statement that he was trying to make. And it was super effective. And it was fucking funny.
Yeah.
He was able to do it and make you fucking laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that was his intent.
Yeah.
And that's why he's fucking brilliant, dude. I will, hands down, Dave Chappelle, I'll ride or die with Chappelle. Like his stand-up, even the current stuff where he's like super political and talking about things, like you're getting exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah. And I mean, we were talking about earlier when we were talking about this or that, the Richard Pryors of the world, the influence that he had. I mean, I think legitimately in the long run, 50, 60, 70 years from now, Chappelle will be the number one as far as influential comics when it comes to, again, talking about things like racial injustice and things like that. Like he's going to be the number one guy because of the way he approached it.
Yeah. He needs, I think the reason he needs to be standing up in front of a lot of this and be the poster child as opposed to some of the other people that they've chosen to, because I think some of the other people that are in the upper tiers representing this particular topic, I think have agendas. Whereas I feel like Chappelle's agenda is that racism sucks.
Yeah. And
he doesn't like it and he wants to fucking do something about it.
And at the same time, he's not going to kowtow to the fucking the liberal media,
Right.
and all of that bullshit, where like he's gotten himself into trouble because of some of the opinions that he has and the things that he's said. But
And
again, he doesn't give a fuck.
he doesn't give a fuck. And he made a statement. He made one of the biggest statements ever throughout all of fucking Hollywood, where he fucking walked away from an ass ton of money, like life-changing money. And he fucking walked away from it because it compromised his belief system.
Yep. Now, to be fair, he's probably made far more money with Netflix and the specials he's done with them,
but
and everything else. But
at the time when I'm cruising in Durban, Africa, looking for Chappelle in the fucking mall.
Yeah, like in 2004 when he's like, "No, I'm out. Like this ain't me. This isn't what I'm about."
Yep. Peace out.
Peace. Yeah.
And he stood by it. Yeah, I like I said, I'm a Chappelle ride or die guy. I wish he was even more, like even a louder representation for everything that's going on, because I think if people listen to him, you're still going to have strong opinions one way or the other, but at least you'll be represented by somebody whose agenda is right in front of you.
Yeah.
Right. And whatever.
Yeah, it's good shit. And honestly, like I can't wait to dig deeper into this series and more episodes of Chappelle shows. So
yeah, man,
we're at least a month removed from doing more. So next week.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to see how fucking smart we are.
Yeah. 90s Trivial Pursuit.
Right,
I know we've already done 80s.
Right.
Right.
We tried. 80s was tough, man. I was, when you're in single digits, I mean, what, 80? Yeah, I mean, I got out of the 80s, I was 15.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on in the 80s that Trivial Pursuit's talking about that I didn't give two fucks about. Well, it didn't have to do with fucking Masters of the Universe or G.I. Joe.
Exactly. And I remember, like, one of the strongest memories that you and I have as knowing each other together was Rochester, New York, right? Mm-hmm. You and I are up there. I'm still doing the whole reclusive thing that I did. I wasn't opened up. We were driving back after that whole Rochester thing, and we're talking about politics. And Tim brought up Reagan, right? And he's like, "Oh, how do you feel about Reagan?" Talking to me, I'm like, I didn't follow politics when I was fucking 13. So, I have no opinion on Reagan whatsoever. So it was one of those things where like politics, anything going on in the world, could give two shits about.
No.
Like, tell me what's going on with the NES, with the Nintendo Entertainment System, or fucking He-Man or G.I. Joe, and then I can answer that question. But you ask me about fucking Reagan or world politics or anything like that, I don't give a shit.
I can tell you, I think it's a show topic at some point, but when we're talking about the Cold War and what the Cold War meant to us as Gen Xers coming to the end of it, because I was in high school when the wall fell.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, well, no, I guess it was a little after, but that was the age bracket.
Yeah, it was like, that was like 90, 91 time frame. So
I started high school in 90. So
yeah, I was 91.
It was right there. All these big world events were happening. So you kind of had an idea shit was happening. But again, pre-internet, like this globalization of fucking information, you got what you got. Like you either you saw it on a fucking newspaper, next to the toilet that your dad just finished, or you fucking, catch a whiff of it on the news while you're waiting for Jeopardy to come.
Right.
So yeah, 90s Trivial Pursuit to get to all that. It'll be good. I think we're going to do much better at it than we did with the 80s.
I would hope so. God, I would hope so. And then after that,
put your side bets out now to see who's going to do better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we need to.
I would put your money on Jason.
Jason's
proven that his memory is way better than mine.
In certain situations. In others, it's gone. But whatever.
Yeah, no shit.
And then after that, we got Vegas. After that, we got Bad Batch.
Yep.
And the new brand, the Sidebar Cantina, because it
doesn't feel new. It really doesn't, because we've been doing the Sidebar Cantina thing for a hot minute.
Right.
I mean, it probably will tell us when we started it.
I would imagine if we went into that Facebook group, it would say somewhere in there where it was first established.
You would think.
And I would be willing to bet it was somewhere around 2017, summer of 2017.
That's
If I had to guess. But
hang on.
Dave's doing it live.
It doesn't say.
Jamie, pull that up.
It's up. It's fully up. It's fully erect. And no.
Is it?
There's that picture.
He has had a lot to drink, so
not really.
okay.
You've had a lot to drink.
Yes.
I nursed like basically a shot for the past 3 hours.
Yeah, I've had like 4 shots in the last 3 hours.
Yep.
So
Wish I had more thumbs.
so I can give those titties 4 thumbs down.
Wally Frogmore posted in the group, the player haters ball makes me lose my shit every time. Yes,
it's so good. And that again, I cannot wait to get into more Chappelle shows.
Yeah.
So we need to like increase our rate of Chappelle's as we go along, even into the sidebar canteen and everything else. Let's start the show.
I can't see.
All right, can we get a real Jamie on this? Tell us when the Sidebar Cantina private Facebook group was established, created, what have you.
Oh, here we go. March 30th, 2018.
Okay, it was 18. I was close.
You said summer of 17.
Yeah, it's not bad. In the grand scheme of things.
It's true. You're closer to that date than you are to the current date.
Exactly.
Oh, speaking of, it's from fucking Gen X point of view. I saw a meme today of it. It had an F-14, right? Had an F-14 Tomcat, right, from Top Gun. It said 1981,
Danger Zone,
right? Then it had an F-22. 40 years later, it had an F-22 fighter for 2021, and then the other direction in 1941, it had a fucking like a P-51 Mustang.
Okay,
so the F-14 is as close to the aircraft we're flying now as it was to the fucking World War II fucking fighters.
Oh, dude. Like, I don't even want to hear this shit because I see so many memes right now in like these Gen X groups that I'm in that are like, the Breakfast Club was closer to the 1940s than we are to the 1980s right now, or some fucking bullshit like that.
It's, again, we know this is how time works.
Yeah.
I can hear people going like, yeah, but
it fucking sucks, man.
This is a real interesting level of retrospection introspection,
both,
that I don't think previous generations actually had the benefit of having.
Well, again, because this is pre-internet,
right? Social media provides all of this fucking, like, it gives you a right up in your face fucking for half a second. It tells you how fucking old you are.
Yeah, it's like context.
Yeah.
This is the context.
You're not looking at a piece of newspaper that's fucking yellowed with age, right? And it's like, wow, this must be old. No. Like, everything is immediately in front of you telling you how old you were.
Yeah.
So it's fucking...
I hate it. And as Gen Xers, man, this is one of those things that is really tough to deal with. It's so tough because I still remember the 80s and the 90s like it was fucking yesterday, man.
Yeah. No, it was yesterday. A lot of yesterdays.
Yes. Well, I saw a meme. Okay. One last thing before we close out. I saw a meme today about The Ring. You remember that movie, The Ring?
Vaguely.
With the fucking girl and the
right
and the fucking weird faces and all that shit. It was talking about like this lady is like, all right, my kids wanted to see The Ring. And the real horrors of this movie was I had to explain to them what a VHS player was, what a fucking landline phone was, what a fucking fax machine was, and all of this stuff. What other horrors await us as we watch The Ring? And I'm like, but wait a minute. And then I start thinking, that movie was fucking 2003. That was 18 fucking years ago.
I still think the 2000s, anything in the 2000s for me is like recent history.
I'm the same way.
That's why fucking 9/11 is going to fuck me up so bad.
I know. Then that's where, what are we in? April, May, June, July, August, September. 5 months. 5 months from the fucking 20-year anniversary. Dude, I remember that day like it was fucking yesterday.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll talk about it.
We are going to talk about it
on the show.
What's
Until
7
then,
hours?
it's time to close things up.
Yeah. Social media.
Social media.
At right now, you can follow us at Gen X POV.
You could.
You can,
or
you could go to at Sidebar Cantina on the Instagram and I think on Twitter. Probably not on Twitter. Nobody goes on Twitter.
Yeah,
no,
Twitter is fucking cancer.
Twitter's the devil.
If you like Twitter, if you frequent Twitter, don't listen to us. Quite frankly, because
don't look for us to be posting anything because we're certainly not going to be doing.
Yeah,
but find that at Sidebar Cantina. We're going to be, as Jason mentioned in the beginning of the show, we're going to be doing our live broadcast, the next live broadcast, right?
Yes,
the next live broadcast we
week.
do will be from the artist formerly known as the All Things Star Wars YouTube channel. So if you're already subscribed, you'll get a notification just like you always have.
Allegedly.
yeah, depending on what system you're
logged into.
YouTube
is a whole other conversation.
But yeah, go find us on wherever you watched us before for the All Things Star Wars. It is now called the Sidebar Cantina. You can find it at youtube.com/c/the Sidebar Cantina.
C
3PO. And follow our friends. Follow the Escape Pod. They go live on Wednesday nights. They're funny. I forget what they're doing this week.
I was just gonna ask that. Yeah, what are they doing this week? Jamie, pull that up. What's the Sidebar Can? Or yeah, they were earlier. So what are the Escape Pod guys doing this week?
You're asking like
no. As we wait for somebody in the chat.
Well, you were asking like you were asking Alexa, so I was like waiting for fucking somebody to like, is she in here?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go to the Escape Pod. They're live on YouTube on Wednesday nights. You can find them on all your podcast venue. Same thing with the Used and Abused podcast. They've been doing their shows live. You can find them everywhere you can find podcasts. Go to Sweet Studios.
Yes.
And see now pretty much now we can say frequent guest. I think we can say frequent guest.
He's been on at least 3 times.
Yes. So we'll say frequent guest.
Yeah. More than Bob Healy, which we need to find him in fucking Lima, Peru or wherever the fuck he's having his
have him telecon in.
Yeah. Wherever he's having his latest meditation sessions.
Stop chanting and fucking come on the show. Anyway, go to Sweet Studios. Just dropped a really, really good video for Creeping Death and a great compilation for his quarantine session. So go subscribe to them. Tell them that Dave and Jason say yeah.
And by the way, Nick, you need to do the DX theme next. The Degeneration X theme is your next quarantine session mix thing. Right.
I don't think he's listening to, but okay.
Whatever.
Who did I forget?
Layman. Keith Layman.
Can't forget Keith Layman.
Yeah.
I think he was in the chat for a hot minute. Go to Layman's Terms. He is exclusively on Facebook, so you need to find Layman's Terms on Facebook and follow him. He does some good short stories, good nerdy stuff too. With the magic and everything else.
Oh yeah, and that's my shit right there.
Yeah, so go in and get yourself learned in some fun stuff. And who am I forgetting?
That's it. Yeah.
Make sure if you're listening to us right now, follow us on Instagram, especially support our social media director, our amazing social media director, Lunar Girl, who is putting a lot of effort into coordinating our fucking multiple channels because we decided we're gonna fucking, instead of being so schizophrenic, go down one fucking channel. And now she's managing all those channels.
She puts in more work than we ever did into our social media.
Facts. I did mention Used and Abused. But thank you, Lunar Girl. Yes. Everything we're doing on social media, you can thank Lunar Girl for that. And especially if you're into coffee, like you guys,
which I am,
you guys have that coffee obsession. I have a Diet Coke obsession. So
right. If I don't have at least 2 cups of coffee first thing in the morning, then don't fucking talk to me.
How do you drink coffee and then go work out? Like, isn't it too hot? See, that's my biggest thing with fucking coffee.
What?
Like I can't ingest. You know what? I'm not even gonna. Anything I say at this point is going to somebody could fucking.
Dave doesn't like hot liquid going into his throat, apparently.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Whereas I love it.
God, again. Fucking in reference to earlier fucking discussion, it just makes it so disturbing.
That's good stuff.
Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. So thanks everybody for listening. Thank you everybody for watching on the YouTube. Remember, next week, All Things Star Wars / Sidebar Cantina YouTube channel is where our primary broadcast is going to come from.
You could just
we'll warn you.
The Sidebar Cantina. Just do it.
Yeah. So thanks again. We love you all, especially to our regulars. Wally Frogmore, you are the man, sir. And until next time, remember, everything we told you today was true from a Gen X point of view. Okay, now what do I click? That's a good one.
I was trying to do slip into Tyrone Biggins, but it stayed high like a fucking the pervert old guy in fucking Family Guy.
It all works. So
okay, now what do I click?
I have to piss again.
Big sexy man.
Give you some Zima soup.
Oh my god, I'm fucking exhausted.
POV.
How do we get more fucking viewers all of a sudden?
Because we're awesome.
Like it just jumped up. So Bronco Fett's like, this is the post show, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Bronco Fett's like, you'll do the Cold War, but not the Clone Wars. We did the Clone Wars.
We did the whole fucking series.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're asking for. And by the way, Tom, I still want to talk about the Republic Commando books. And that's a thing I think we should do in the Sidebar Cantina when we make that conversion. So we haven't forgotten about you, buddy. You're still up there. So don't worry.
We may or may not have been deliberately putting off Republic Commando just because of sometimes if you want something too much, sometimes that's how it works out.
It is kind of fun to take a little jab here and there, but I gotta piss. I'll be right back.
Wait for you to float out of here.
Oh shit.
I can't wait till you sober up and find these signs. Oh man. Yeah, so I went through, speaking of coffee, right? Again, I don't besmirch anybody with their coffee. I 100% get it. I did a coffee thing when I worked on mid shift, right? Or well, I don't know if it was whatever mid shift is, right? But I worked from 3 in the afternoon till 11 at night, and we drank a lot of coffee during that shift, just because like it's just a weird time to fucking try and be productive in a warehouse environment. And I don't know, just it was the appropriate stimulation at the time, especially because most of the time we went at fucking and started drinking after work, so you wanted to be nice and awake when you left. But I developed like really severe heartburn. Like I was getting really bad indigestion. It was like life altering pain and issues. So
did you hide them somewhere?
No.
Where the fuck are they?
I don't know, dude. I'm telling you, you have to sober up and find them.
They're right fucking there.
Did you check under your keyboard?
Yes, I looked like 5 times.
No, so when I went to the doctor about the heartburn thing, he basically said, I got diagnosed with a hiatal hernia, so I have issues with a lot of acid reflux, which immediately, like, one of the things that he said to get rid of was coffee because of
fuck that. I would rather die. I would rather fucking die than give up coffee. Period.
Yeah, mine was bad to the point where it probably could have killed me. Like,
I don't care. Fucking.
But I got on medication and got that under control. So it was at some point. I wish that was on camera, like the papers flying around. I don't know, dude. I don't.
Where the fuck could they have gone? Oh, I'm so mad right now. Wait a minute. What is this? Oh, that's the papers I just threw.
on this episode of Jason throws everything around the
I'm
studio.
so mad right now.
I don't blame you.
Anyway, carry on. What were you saying?
No, I just I tried to go back to coffee and I just couldn't do it. So because I know I have a Diet Coke problem, right? And I try and I need the caffeine. I just need it. So
is that what it is? Is it the caffeine, or is it just more like
no? So like especially like so I've been going to the gym, right? And this is just a good example of it.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
going to the gym and then afterwards like drinking something hot when I'm already like when my body temp is already up, like my furnace is going. Drinking something hot, like I can't eat soup when it's warm out. I just can't. Like it just if I already feel warm and I drink something warm, then it's like I'm going to be uncomfortable.
I used to be that way, yeah.
And coffee is the same way. Like if I'm cold, I could drink it. It's like it's not like I can't drink it. It's just I can't work it into my system. And iced coffee is too fucking expensive. Like I tried doing the cold brew at home. It's too much work. It's a lot of work. It was not bad. Like I got Starbucks, did the what's it called? Not the chunky, but you have to grind it a certain way if you're doing cold brew. So I had Starbucks do it for me, and I made a couple of batches of it, and it was okay. But there's also some modicum of effort that, when my wife and my father-in-law also, they have to have their coffee, right? And my mother-in-law too.
I'm that
right?
way.
So there's coffee in the house, like immediately made. Somebody wakes up and coffee, right? Because that's what they need. And like you said, 100% understand. Excuse me. So, but they make the coffee and then they have like a dispenser. Like it's not in a pot. They have it like it's in a thing. So you just go and it like fills your cup.
Okay.
So they can walk up to it. They don't have to think. Just go, coffee. Like clinky, 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 and then drink it. And then they're good. Like I don't have that. If I had a fucking soda machine in the house, then I'd be the same way.
I'm sure you would be.
But I'm sensitive to the fact that I know that I drink too much Diet Coke. I know it. But at the same time, when I try to throttle back, if I don't replace that caffeine some kind of way, I feel like absolute garbage. Like I battle migraines as it is. So like taking away like caffeine makes migraines worse.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I think I could probably get more caffeine out of a fucking cup of coffee, but I would need.
Oh, you most definitely could.
I would need to have more disposable income to fucking get somebody to make me fucking cold brew, and then I would drink that instead.
Right. Which most of us don't have that luxury.
Exactly.
So.
Or we choose to spend it on something else, which
Right.
I'm sure I could. There's ways. I know. I hear you out there. I hear you. I can certainly do it because if I go to Wawa and buy a soda, I can probably spend just as much as on the soda as I do with anything else. What are you looking at?
No, Dragon Buddy. Like he initially said he's not a coffee person. I'm like, what the fuck, man? But then he's like, well, it's got to be like special, like tasty, like a Black Rifle, which by the way, Black Rifle coffee. They sent my squadron. It must have been fucking 20 pounds of fucking free coffee when we were mobilized over the last year. Because Black Rifle, they are a very military friendly, like founded by military veterans.
Matt Best.
And I mean, again, Heather Lynn, like that's all you got to say. Follow her on Instagram for all of the
Heather Lynn-ness.
Yes. And no, but they're really good. They're very flavorful. They've got a lot of strong brews.
Yeah.
And we've still got bags and bags of fucking Black Rifle coffee in my office.
It's good. You know what? I thought about getting some for doing my cold brew, but it was something with the coarse. It's coarse ground. You have to do if you're going to do it at home. You have to have coarse ground, and I have a French press, so you can do it in a French press.
Does it surrender whenever there's any pressure on it?
As soon as I put pressure on it,
it surrenders.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha.
And then it has to sit for a while by itself. Can't touch it. Don't don't talk to me. No, but totally. Black Rifle coffee is the bomb, and I get it. Like, and same thing with Starbucks. Like, I drive by the Starbucks in Deptford, and the fucking line is going almost to the highway. and it's insane all the time. That place is fucking packed.
Jesus.
And I've gotten Starbucks coffee on the way, like long drives when I just need a little bit more, right? I just need a little extra, right? And I'll stop at a Starbucks at a fucking rest stop or whatever. And yeah, I get it. Like it's better coffee than Wawa coffee. Sure.
Lunar Girl mission in the chat. Dragon Buddy has learned to not talk to her until she's had her morning coffee.
Yeah,
so I'm not to that point where I get that irritable, but yeah, if I don't have coffee in my hands within the first like 10 minutes of me being awake, then you better fucking steer clear.
So you've got so inside that 10-minute window, forget it.
Well, and here's the deal, like full honesty, my alarm goes off, right? I fucking wake up, I work my way out of bed, immediately move to the Keurig. That's my first motions before I ever go to piss or anything else. I move to the Keurig, fucking coffee, put the coffee in, and then I walk to the fucking bathroom, take a piss. By the time I get back to the Keurig, it's done fucking filling. And then I walk that fucking mug of coffee to my desk in my room, and I sit there and I sit my cup and I like play on my computer for like 15 minutes or so. So that is my it's every single morning. Every single morning. Doesn't matter if I'm working, doesn't matter if I'm going to the gym. I will wake up early enough so that I can fucking make my coffee, take a piss, and then go and sip my coffee at my desk for the first 20 minutes that I'm awake.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not that dependent. Like I get to a point. So here's what's interesting. Like I said, I was going to the gym, right? No selfies, by the way. I can't do it.
Well, why even go then? Like if you're not going to take selfies at the gym, then why even bother?
I'm just going to tell dozens of people about it, in the podcast. No, so I wake up and I have to wake up and immediately get fucking dressed, brush my teeth, and go to the gym.
Okay.
Like, if I spend any more time in the house, like waking up, then I won't go.
And I can understand that. I've been there.
I need that downhill momentum to get me into the car going to the fucking gym. So I'm like kind of waking up when I get there. I'm going to the bathroom. Like,
so you don't have enough time to talk yourself out of it, basically.
Right. Like, no, grab a fucking Gatorade or a bottle of water, go out the door and, get there. And then wake up while I'm on the fucking exercise bike or the elliptical.
Right.
Like, that's
like, wait, what's going on? What day is it?
Why are my legs moving? Oh my God, this is the worst ever. Speaking of, I cannot fucking operate an elliptical machine.
Really?
I am
you're talking the.
Yeah, I don't use the arm bit. Just putting my feet into it.
Just the leg part?
Can't.
We got to use the arms then.
That doesn't help.
Really?
So I get in this motion where I'm on the thing because my physical therapist says like the elliptical will be way better for me, right? Because like sitting in the bike is good for cardio, but it's there's other issues. So I'm on this thing and I'll be like for a good maybe minute, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this, right? And I'll be going along, and all of a sudden I'll be like, and then then all of a sudden my locomotion turns into this,
right.
Like I'm a fucking robot on there. Now I'm like, it takes me like I have to slow way the fuck down and then like kind of build myself up to it again. And then after that, I feel like I'm like clunk, 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 clunk. And I'm on like these machines are fucking the tits. They're the top of the line machines. Like you can go boop, 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 put my PIN number, log into the machine. It'll tell me what I fucking did the last time. It's a good machine. It's not the machine.
Right.
It's this machine. It's this fucking broken ass machine that tries to locomote on the fucking thing. And after 15 minutes of me basically fighting this machine, I just get on the fucking exercise bike. Fuck it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like go in reverse? Like, will you go forward for like 5 to 10 minutes and then like switch the polarity?
Just forward.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta mix it up, man. You gotta go in reverse. You gotta go like 5 minutes forward, 5 minutes back.
I gotta be able to stay on the thing for more than a fucking minute, where I don't feel like I'm gonna like embarrass. Like it's one of those like you're in the gym and like I've been in and out of gym for years, right? So I don't really have that bit where like I'm too fat for the gym.
Sure,
I definitely was at a point of that in my life. Not anymore. I'm too old for that shit. But so I'm not really embarrassed to be in there because I'm fat, because I'm trying to get less fat.
Sure.
So that's the whole purpose of being in.
And I mean, like any non-fucking dickwad is going to be like, dude's working it, man.
Yeah.
Rock on, man.
And
Keep it going.
I'm in this little gym, and everyone's like, I'm never going to feel that in my gym, right?
Sure.
But I feel like when I'm Bambiing it on the fucking elliptical, I feel like everyone's watching because I'm not so certain that I wouldn't watch. Just like
Right.
looking at this, and I'm sure it's more dramatic for me. Like somebody watching me probably doesn't even notice it. They might, with a mask on, they probably won't even see my facial expression change. But
yeah, that's the weird
because
thing.
I wear a hat and then fucking have my mask on, so you barely see my face at all.
That's actually kind of funny because I was thinking like a week or two ago, like I'm so glad I'm wearing a mask right now because the faces these people would see me making as I'm doing like overhead shoulder presses and I'm like really pushing the weight. I'm like, "Ah!" They're not seeing that because of the fucking mask.
Right.
So like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
but
someday you won't have to wear that mask and you'll be like, oh boy.
yeah.
No boy. I'm just gonna be over here.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure I'm making some fucking crazy faces as I'm trying to really push fucking weight. Just like, "Yeah!" Like fucking Sylvester Stallone and name a Stallone movie and I'm making that face.
Oh, what was that fucking arm wrestling movie?
Oh, Over the Top.
Over the Top. There you go. or episode 150 part 2.
Yes.
Probably making those faces if that existed.
Right.
That was a thing.
Right. Cobra. Rocky.
Tired moms. Franco Fett fuck Wawa because he's still getting the Hulu commercials from
Really?
New Jersey.
Really, Tom?
Look, there's way worse things than Wawa. I had to go to fucking Royal Farms today.
I noticed you had the Royal Farms Cup.
So somebody...
It's well documented within our podcast that you don't like Royal Farms. So
and my Wawa stop on the way to the podcast is being closed for remodeling.
The little Wawa between you and me?
The Magnolia one.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. So I had to go to fucking Royal Farms.
Oof.
And sad face. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan. And Royal Farms is not as bad as some places. However, like, when we're up visiting my daughter in State College, like Sheetz is everywhere. So
right, that's a Pennsylvania thing.
Yeah, and Sheetz is okay to me. Like it. The fact is, Wawa is competing with Sheetz. Bust. Wawa's, getting hot food and doing dinner and French fries and like burgers and shit like that. So they're trying to compete with Royal Farms with having more like dinner stuff.
Supergirl 3000 just made a very bold statement in the fucking chat, which I vehemently disagree with. I mean, Royal Farms does some pretty good chicken, but overall, Wawa is still the fucking king.
Yeah, I would agree. I've never heard of Maverick.
Yeah, me either. Yeah. You might not want to touch Tom Brady.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it. Honestly. Like ever. Yeah. No, I'll go to bat for Wawa in a lot of ways. But at the same time, as somebody who's grown up with Wawa pretty much, like Wawa came into our area like when I was in middle school, middle school going into high school. So I feel like that wasn't that long ago, but kind of was.
All right.
So when I worked at Wawa in 94, 95, when I worked at Wawa, it was a completely different experience. Like,
well, yeah, that's when you had to fucking write down the people's orders, and
it was a deli.
Yeah.
Like you had to know if when you went to the fucking Wawa Academy, like you had to be able to identify visually of what a fucking meat product was or what type of cheese it was, so that you could fucking do it in a hurry. And I worked overnights when I worked at Wawa, so I think I've told the Wawa story before, but that was a better sandwich experience, I think, because it was like fresher lunch meat. There's a lot pre-prepared stuff now, and we were getting the rolls straight from Amoroso. So
Man, Dragon Buddy just fucking laid his dick on the table. Just
Look, just because your company sucks doesn't and gave you a Wawa gift card doesn't mean that Wawa sucks.
right.
That's again, you're pointing your ire to the wrong fucking thing. And like I said, I won't get gas anywhere else in the area.
No,
No.
not even on base.
If I have to, I'll go on base.
That's where I always guess up is on base.
Yeah, a lot of times it just doesn't work out for me timing wise. It's just not part of my battle rhythm because I'm already off base by the time I think about getting gas.
Right.
And there's going to be a super Wawa right outside the gate now in Wrightstown.
Where?
Yeah. So you know where the diner was? Well, it's still there, but
The diner that was on the opposite
State
corner of the other fucking Wawa.
Yeah.
Are they tearing that down?
Oh, it's gone.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's gone. They're putting a super Wawa in there.
The last time I was in there was with you.
Yeah.
That fucking diner.
Oh no, the diner's still there.
Oh, that Wawa is gone.
The Wawa's gone. They're putting a super Wawa in there.
Oh.
The diner, they closed. They closed the diner. So I'm sure that'll be gone soon too.
Really?
Yeah. I think COVID killed them.
God damn, man. Fuck
Yeah.
COVID. Fuck this whole pandemic. Ugh,
Yeah.
Makes me so fucking mad.
We got to go to the sandwich place though. We got to go back into the sandwich place. I don't know. So
Well, Stonehouse.
Stonehouse.
Yeah, it opened this week. I've already got a lunch date for Thursday for Stonehouse. So
Fucking oil farms.
yeah. But anyway,
Super Wawas. Yeah, there's a trust factor with me with the Wawa gas that when I was a kid, I think about all the cars I've had over the years, right? Which is up to 20 cars. And when I was a kid, going to the fucking
Supergirl's talking mad shit in the chat right
yeah,
now.
I'm sure she is. Again, bad things to Tom Brady
Mhm.
are going to happen.
He's gonna put some eggnog in your face.
Trifling bitch. Yeah, I put such crap gas in my cars for so many years and have found I did Sunoco for a long time. Because we had a Sunoco card and like you go and it was cheaper gas, blah blah blah, whatever. So I did Sunoco for a while, but then Sunoco ended up being like it's just expensive. So I went from Sunoco to when Super Wawas are popping up, and then there's just convenient because I was going to be in Wawa anyway.
Sure, yeah.
So fucking might as well get my gas there. So that's
Yeah.
But I think the Galactic Refugee would attest to it. I can give you basically a landmark direction to any Wawa within 50 miles of me.
Right.
And there's very few Wawas that I haven't been in, even the newest ones. So it's a problem.
Indeed. All right. Well, I think this is a great time to end the stream.
Yeah.
And again, thanks everybody. We still got a lot of people in the chat and viewing. Next week, we're gonna simulcast over the Sidebar Cantina YouTube stream and the Gen X POV just to kind of get the last of the strap hangers. But we implore you to go to the Sidebar Cantina YouTube channel, formerly the All Things Star Wars YouTube channel. That's going to be our primary chat outlet,
broadcast.
stream, broadcast, whatever you want to call it.
Wawa.
As we move forward. So we're going to slowly wean you off of the Gen X POV, even though it's been a great ride. It's been fun. I'm glad we've done this. Yeah. And the Sidebar Cantina is going to be the culmination of that All Things Star Wars.
It's the same shit. We just needed to fucking consolidate our feces.
Right. Consolidate our feces?
Yeah. Never.
What are we checking for fiber or like what's going on here?
Instead of getting your shit together, say consolidating your feces.
Yeah.
You never used that before?
Right.
Is that just a Davism?
Maybe. So anyway, thanks again for sticking with us. We're signing off. We'll be back next week for the 90s Trivial Pursuit.
Yes.
And then we'll take it from there. And I got to figure out when the fuck my Vegas vacation actually is, which apparently I don't even know. I don't know when we're
It's
going.
right next to the fucking I have to pee sign.
Yeah, where the fuck is it? Like, seriously. Anyway, thanks, guys. We love you. You're the best.
See ya.
And we're out.